Supervised the coin toss at center field.
I mentioned earlier, Jim, that everybody was excited about seeing Dan Marino, and as you noticed when they introduced the players, he got one of the biggest ovations here in the Kingdome.
Jim Lampley and Ahmad Rashad live with you from the Kingdome, where indeed much of the mystique surrounding today's game centers on the visits of Marino and Shula to the Pacific Northwest.
Your choice. You want the ball, which end will you kick from? Please turn around. The Seahawks won the toss, chose to receive. Gentlemen, let's play football.
So the Seattle Seahawks attempting to take the measure of Shula's Dolphins, and the Seahawks crippled somewhat by injury, particularly on offense, coming into the game. They lost their primary deep threat receiver, Brian Blades, the first game of the season. Blades' first play of the year after a long preseason holdout with a shoulder injury. And then this week, they lose the other deep threat receiver, Tommy Kane. And we take a look at the series between the two teams. They have played 4 times in the regular season, Miami having won 3 of the 4 games. The only Seattle win during 1987, a replacement game here at the Kingdome.
I've always wondered what kind of strategy is it. How do you decide what end to defend in a dome
stadium?
Yeah. I think you just want to do something and you say, I'll take whatever end you're on, I'll take that end.
Well, you could always just sort of walk around and play stop the music. I'll go to this end, I'll go to this end, I'll go to this end. The music stops. Aha! Or if you defend this end.
Or if you warm up on one end, you're more familiar with that end for that 10-minute time that you warmed up.
Of course, you could ask to be near the coach in the second half, but he stands at midfield, making it a moot point. It'll be Pete Stoyanovich to kick it off for the Dolphins. And deep to receive for the Seahawks are Chris Warren and Ruben Mays. Number 42, Warren, waiting for the football. He is the primary Seahawk runner from scrimmage. Also returns kicks because Tom Flores says he has to. He's the best we've got. 17-yard return of the kick. Gets the football back exactly to the 20-yard line. Jim Jensen made the stop downfield for the Dolphins. And you look at the offensive front for the Seahawks. Rookie Ray Roberts at the critical left tackle position to be trying to stop Dolphin pass rusher Brian Cox. Backs and receivers for the Seahawks. Kelly Stauffer, after a good preseason, has been off to a horrible start in the regular season, completing fewer than 50% of his passes. Clark and Thomas are the wide receivers on first down in the patched-up Seahawk receiving corps. Stauffer to throw, and he gets it into the flat with a multi-talented fullback, John L. Williams. And Williams is across the 25 with a pickup of 5 yards. It'll be second down. Dolphin defenders. Miami goes with the 3-4 defensive front. Marco Coleman, the rookie linebacker, made a huge impression in preseason, has struggled in the regular season. Brian Cox is the primary pass rusher. In the secondary, rookie cornerback Troy Vincent, high #1 draft choice, gets the first start of his NFL career today. Chris Warren, first carry of the football game, breaks the tackle, gets across the 30 for first down yardage to the 32-yard line before Jarvis Williams knocked him out of bounds. Not a well-known name, but rapidly becoming one of the more prominent running backs in the AFC.
Chris Warren, and you wonder why they got rid of Derek Finner. Well, here's the reason. Chris Warren, who came on strong at the end of last season, started off this season with a bang. He's a guy that doesn't have a lot of experience at running back, but he's 6'2", almost 230 pounds, runs a 40 in 4.4, and really has come into his own as a running back here, taking the load off of John L. Williams.
Warren's 122 yards rushing last week, the key to the victory over New England by a 10-6 score. Stauffer on first down, complete to Doug Thomas on the out pattern. Troy Vincent, the rookie corner, getting his first test for the Dolphins, a little loose on the coverage.
Well, Seattle starting off very successfully here, keeping Kelly Stauffer in there with a lot of passes that really increase. When you throw little short passes, you just get so confident in the rhythm of your passing game. And so far, as this game has just begun, he looks a lot more in sync than when he did last week against the New England Patriots.
Pickup of about 10 yards. You see the chains coming across as they'll measure to see if they picked up the first down.
In Tom Flory's offense, you have to have a very athletic tight end. As you see, they're shy by a few inches. You have to have a very athletic tight end, and you also have to have a wide receiver that can take it deep. When they lost Tommy Kane, they were a little concerned about that, but they still have some players that can run. Lewis Clark can still run, but if they're able ever hope to really get to where they want to get, they got to get a tight end in here that was a lot like Todd Christensen that could catch 90, 100 balls.
What distinction, if any, between the Tom Flory's offense and the Raider offense of Al Davis that we've seen for 3 decades?
I don't think there's very much difference. The difference is the personnel that plays those important spots, like tight end, like running back. You have Chris Warren, that would be like Marcus Allen, but they don't have a Todd Christensen in there at tight end.
And the name Keith Jackson lingers tantalizingly in front of Seattle fans. John L. Williams on first down. It is John Grimsley who makes the tackle from his inside linebacker spot for the Dolphins. The measurement showed them to be a yard short of the first down. So that was Williams plunging to move the chains, and it looks like he has gone far enough after the pickup of 2 yards. And that'll move it. It'll be first down Seahawks, their second first down of the drive at the 43-yard line. But the Seahawks do not appear interested in negotiating with the free agent tight end Keith Jackson. Instead, it is wide receiver Webster Slaughter who appears to have their interest.
Very interesting to me. It would seem to me that in order to make this offense go, you need a tight end. But Flores told us yesterday it's Webster Slaughter who they've been talking about.
Many executives around the league saying Jackson just costs too much. John L. Williams again with the football on first down, and Williams across the right side gets a pickup of about 2. It'll be second down 8 with the ball at the 46-yard line. Again, inside linebacker John Grimsley, 8th-year player out of Kentucky, makes the stop for the Dolphins.
John L. Williams not getting the call like he did in the past years because he's got Chris Warren to take some of that load off him, but also he's had a bad foot. Last week he didn't get a chance to really carry the ball or run the ball or catch the ball out of the backfield because he had a bad foot. But he, in this league, is one of the best all-around backs in the business. Can run, can block, can catch.
Spread formation. Warren moves out to a wide receiver spot on the near side. Williams, the lone setback as Stopper drops to throw. Looking deep for Thomas, and he almost made the catch. Jarvis Williams, number 26, there to defend for the Dolphins.
It appeared to me that the receiver was really covered. There's a man right behind him and somebody in front. But I guess if you could have dropped that ball down inside, he had a chance to make that catch. Stoffer has not been that accurate to date. And one of the things that they want to do is not give the ball away. You got to keep away from those interceptions.
Well, Stoffer stayed away from interceptions in the regular season, or in the preseason, I should say. Only 2 interceptions so far in the regular season, but he's been sacked 8 times. Third down, 8 yards to go. Thomas in motion across the middle. Stoffer is going to be sacked, and the football is stolen. Coming from behind was number 92, David Griggs. And Griggs, the 4th-year linebacker out of Virginia, not only hit Stoffer from behind, but ripped the football out of his hands. So just as you talked about the need to avoid turnovers, Ahmad, the Seahawks make one. The Dolphins will be in business when we return.
The Allstate agent who helps insure your home can give you a hand with a plan for life insurance. Life insurance. Your Allstate agent wants to be your agent for life. You're in good hands with Allstate. Time to think about life insurance? Let your Allstate agent work it out on paper. Everything from mortgage protection to a plan for a breezy retirement. Let your Allstate agent be your agent for life. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Oil, the lifeblood of your engine. So the most vital organ is your oil filter. That's why you need Fram Extra Guard. Unique glass fiber paper stops more dirt than any other filter. Fram Extra Guard, the best protection ever.
I'm a big man.
Why do so many men stick with Bic?
I'm a big man.
Because there's a Bic for every beard. Regular, sensitive, metal.
Yeah, I'm a big man.
I'm a big man. Slowing down, that ain't you.
It's a silver bullet smooth. Make the move, Coors Lights. It's silver bullet smooth.
One of the things you want to do to stop this Miami offense is to keep them off the field. Seattle doesn't do this. As you see Stopper, he's got a lot of time to throw the ball, but right now he's got to start feeling that pressure from the backside from David Griggs, and he just stays with it, and all of a sudden he gets a present. Christmas early.
So Griggs' fumble recovery sets up the Dolphins at the Seahawk 42-yard line. Marino's first walk onto the Kingdome field in game action. And the give is to Mark Higgs, and Higgs demonstrates his remarkable capacity for finding the hole behind the Dolphin offensive line, anchored by the two 1990 rookies, Richmond Webb and Keith Sims on the left side, Ulenek, Galbraith, and Dennis, the rest of the offensive front. Dennis will alternate with Jeff Dellenbach, will be in there in the second quarter. Marino, Higgs, Page, Duper, Tony Martin, and Farrell Edmonds at the skill positions. They expect Mark Clayton to be back in the lineup, perhaps replacing Martin as a starter next week against the Bills. On second down, Higgs is met and dropped. Number 99, Tezman, Cortez Kennedy, the center of Tasmania here in Seattle after his spectacular play last week against New England.
Cortez Kennedy is one of the up-and-coming superstars in the National Football League. He's over 300 pounds, plays the run well, plays the pass well, and he's a guy that just loves to play football. They say that his enthusiasm has really infected this entire defensive team. Tez for Prez, and he gets my vote.
And our Miami viewers know him well from his All-America years at the University of Miami. It is third down 3 now. Marino will operate out of the shotgun with 4 wide receivers on the field. And Marino throws it in and out of the hands of number 90 or 29, Dwayne Harper, the Seahawk cornerback, with an easy pick, and he only held on to the football. Duper was the intended receiver in the flat.
Marino put that ball out there so quick that if his receiver can't catch it, there's no way that the defender could react soon enough to try to catch that ball. Marino, with that quick release, had a little bit of a pressure, but he always has pressure, but you're never able to sack him because of that quick release.
Stoyanovich will try a 53-yard field goal, 6 of 7 on the year. The only miss from 50 yards. Scott Mitchell is the holder. In the perfect indoor conditions, it is good. Just getting it through from 53 yards out. No wind, of course, in the Kingdome. Pete Stoyanovich puts the Dolphins on top 3-zip.
Most people retire to Northern California for the gentle climate. Neil McBain came here to race in the fabled Monterey Historic. And Dean Witter was with him every mile of the way.
Respect the power of a client's dream and help them achieve it.
That's why 11 years ago, Dean Witter mapped out Neil's financial course with one goal in mind. Victory. Dean Witter.
We measure success one investor at a time.
Get the power! Get the power!
In color.
Get the power!
In color. In color.
The affordable Canon CJ10. The power of color is yours.
Now at Little Caesars, Cheeser Cheeser. Two pizzas with extra cheese, up to 3 toppings, and free crazy bread for $8.98.
Teaser.
Quality motor oil can go a long way toward protecting against engine wear. But by adding STP oil treatment, it can go even further, because STP increases even the best oil's viscosity by up to 50%. It's that simple.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by the First Brands Corporation, makers of STP oil treatment. By Little Caesars Pizza, where you always get 2 great pizzas for 1 low price. By the Canon CJ10 full-color copier printer scanner. Now the power of color is yours. And by Dean Witter. There are many ways to measure success. Dean Witter measures success one investor at a time.
Back live in the Kingdome, 10 minutes, 7 seconds to go in quarter number 1. And Pete Stoyanovich prepares to kick the football away for the Dolphins after his 53-yard field goal on Miami's first possession of the game has given the Dolphins a 3-love lead. Deep to receive for Seattle, Chris Warren and Reuben Mays. The kick again comes to Warren. And the third-year running back out of Ferrum College in Virginia gets it only back to the 16. Outstanding kick coverage for the Dolphins. Kelly Stoffer will start from there with the Seattle offense. And you look at Buffalo's 41-7 win over New England. Jim Kelly red hot in the early season. 3 second-half touchdown passes giving Buffalo the win. Remember, next Sunday, NBC Sports presenting more exciting NFL football action beginning at 12:30 Eastern with NFL Live, and then many of you will see Jim Kelly and the Bills airing it out against Dan Marino and these Dolphins in the early season summit meeting in the AFC East. All eyes on Warren as the Seahawks begin from the 16, and he's got a couple before Grimsley and Offerdahl make the stop from their inside linebacker positions. Call it a gain of 3. It'll be 2nd down 7.
One of the things that concerned this Seahawks football team was keeping pressure off their quarterback. And the way they wanted to do that was be able to run the ball early. But Tom Flores was telling me yesterday, another thing is they didn't want to get behind, get way behind, because they really haven't been able to get anything out of their offense. They want to stay even in the game so they can call their normal plays. If they get too far behind, it's too much pressure on Stoffer to try to bring this offense back.
On 2nd down, Warren goes out to a wide receiver position along with Clark and Thomas. Stoffer calls with John L. Williams the lone setback. And the give is to Williams. And he's got another gain of 3 across the 20 to about the 21-yard line. Call it a pickup of 2, and it will be 3rd down 5. Grimsley, who's been very busy in the early action, again there to make the stop for the Dolphins, along with right end Jeff Cross, number 91, a 5th-year player out of Missouri.
Well, Jeff Cross was one of the players that Cortez Kennedy had over for dinner last night. Jeff Cross, Harry Galbraith, and Richard Webb. He said he tried to feed them too much so they'd be too heavy for the game today. He said all they would eat is fish sandwiches, so he don't think it affected them at all.
They wanted to watch college football. Do you suppose Tez was suffering through that 8-7 Miami win over Arizona?
I think he was too busy trying to psych these guys out for today.
3rd down 5, and the completion is to Thomas. Ball pops loose, and we'll see how the officials elect to rule, as Troy Vincent was there to make the stop for the Dolphins. But it would appear that it's going to be a completion and 1st down yardage for the Seahawks across the 25 to the 28-yard line.
You'll see Marco Coleman, he's the guy that they're really concerned about. Here is a double team here, where it's pretty hard to put any pressure on the quarterback when you got 2 big old fellas trying to keep you away. And as a rookie, that's got to be a compliment to be double teamed, but he still wasn't able to get into the quarterback. There you see the end of that reception. They're saying that he caught the ball and it fell out after he hit the ground. As you can just see, it didn't look that way to me.
7-yard pickup, and it's a 1st down for the Seahawks. Now Stoffer wants to throw on 1st down and gets it across the middle to number 87, Paul Green, the tight end. Jarvis Williams makes the stop for the Dolphins after a very short gain. Pickup of 3. It'll be 2nd down, 7 yards to go for Seattle.
But Jim, that's the kind of work you want to get from your tight end, to be able to find an open spot. Here's the reception that was called a reception. You see he's got the ball there. On the way down, he looks like he loses it. But they called it, you can't have a fumble with contact from the ground, and that's why they got the 1st down.
For the past 2 plays, one of the real solid citizens in the NFL, James Jones, number 30, in the football game for Williams. That's Jones in motion, seeming to not know exactly where to go, but he makes the crackback block. Warren comes across the line of scrimmage for a couple, and we're going to have flags down as Grimsley makes the tackle. Flags might have something to do with Jones having been in motion. Nope. Going to be a holding call against the Seahawks.
And James Jones is plays a lot of different positions. He'll play fullback. Last week they ran out of tight end, so they ended up lining him up at tight end. So he's a guy that can do a lot of things.
Holding during the run. Number 30 of the offense.
And there he gets a holding call for you.
I thought you said that he was a very good citizen.
Yeah, he's a solid citizen. Hey, what's more respectable than a holding penalty in the NFL?
If it's lovable, I guess it's okay, but I think that one wasn't too lovable. You see James Jones coming down on a little crackback block. He's got that hand on the outside trying to grab Coleman, and he's caught. There, just grabs him underneath the shoulder pad and rides him to the ground.
That falls under the category of too much jersey. That's a too much jersey holding penalty.
You got to be sneakier than that.
Yeah, you want a fingerful, not a whole handful like that. So now it is 2nd down and 16 yards to go. The ball back at the 22-yard line. Stofford gets away from pressure. Elects to bring it down and slides across the 30 to the 32-yard line. Safety first for Kelly Stofford. Jarvis Williams came up to tap him on the shoulder pad and get credit for the stop. An 11-yard gain for Stofford. Turns 2nd and 16 into 3rd down and 5.
A good decision by Kelly Stofford, not able to find the receiver open, but seeing that running room in front of him and then taking off. That's something that David Craig did a lot when he was a quarterback here in Seattle. I was always envious of quarterbacks that are able to slide. I slid once and got tattooed to the turf by about 5 guys. No penalty, nothing. Quarterback slides, they just touch him.
Can't get no respect.
No.
On 3rd down 5, Stofford under center. Makes the drop. Some pressure, but he delivers the football accurately to number 30, James Jones. Lifford Hobley made the stop for the Dolphins. Jones makes up for his holding penalty by helping the Seahawks to convert.
You get James Jones and you get him on a linebacker, he should always be open. The linebacker's always wrong. And Stofford, a great delivery on this ball, very accurate. James Jones comes up with the 1st down.
Stofford rapidly improving under your watchful eye, Ahmad.
As we watch, we can see him develop. Didn't play very well last week, but so far 5 for 6, 35 yards. He looks very good.
Stofford, good release. 42, Chris Warren with the catch in the flat. J.B. Brown makes the stop for the Dolphins, gain of 6.
And Stofford feeling that pressure this time. It wasn't anything that you had to look up and see somebody bearing down on you, but you just have a certain sense that you can feel the guy coming in on you and have a feeling that the rookie left tackle, Ray Roberts, not able to hold it up out there on the left side of the line.
You saw Roberts doing well against Marco Coleman, the rookie out of Georgia Tech. That time it was Brian Cox who got the outside lane and went around him. And you see Robbins backing up just a little bit, looking to his outside now as he tries to get a beat on Cox. Williams gets to the outside and the pickup of a couple. Number 25, Lewis Oliver there with the finishing tackle. There are not too many stronger tacklers at the free safety position in the NFL than the 224-pound Lewis Oliver.
He is a hammer. And speaking of hammer, he's also in the record business. Hammer, see hammer in the records.
Brilliantly done.
That's right. Lewis Oliver.
Never a smoother transition in the history of sportscasting, I think.
That's right. He's got his own management company and record company. Has a group called, I can't remember the group, but it's a hot group. He told me that he would send me some of the records. It's called Three Time
Love.
Love
In it.
3 Time Love.
LUV, love. It is 3rd down 3. Seahawks would love to get another 1st down. Stopper looking deep down the sideline. And way out of bounds was number 84, Lewis Clark. Pushed out of bounds by the rookie corner, Troy Vincent. Never a chance for a completion there.
Great coverage by the rookie, Troy Vincent. He used that sideline so well. You'll see Lewis Clark trying to get a beat on the ball, but watch Troy Vincent just run him out of bounds. Once you get out of bounds, you can't come back in to try to make the reception. But Vincent, just excellent ability out there in corner to make this guy run out of bounds.
Crowd insulted by Vincent's brilliant defense. Some booing now.
Some people don't know a good defensive play when they see it.
Rick Tootin, who had a bundle of punts last week against New England, gets away a high floater. Beautifully done. Dolphins elect to let it go into the end zone, number 85. That was Rob Thomas, who was leaping to try to down it. Couldn't quite get there. Dolphins have it when we come back.
The Oscar race begins with the last of the Mohicans. Time calls it grandly scaled, deliriously energetic. A fierce romantic epic, says Newsweek.
Stay alive, no matter what occurs. I will find you.
The best film of the year, The Last of the Mohicans, rated R. Now playing at theaters everywhere.
At BASF, we don't make the meal, we make it healthier. We don't make the lotion, we make it smoother. We don't make the dress, we make it brighter. We don't make the carpet, we make it tougher. At BASF, we don't make a lot of the products you buy. We make a lot of the products you buy better. BASF.
There are two people who can raise your income and lower your taxes right now. You and your financial advisor. Call and find out how you can increase your spendable income with Nuveen tax-free mutual funds.
If your ordinary drill could be a Black & Decker limited edition, it would have 30% more power and a keyless chuck for easy bit changes. Then you'd have no ordinary drill. You'd have a Black & Decker limited edition.
Flash announcement, next Saturday, hard-hitting boxing action returns to NBC. Hope we had more luck than we had with HBO last night. You'll see a slugfest between two tenacious Texans as former world champion Troy Dorsey, nonstop punching machine, continues his comeback, battling Jesse James Leha, one of boxing's hottest prospects. Dorsey versus Leha, presented by Valvoline, live next Saturday following Notre Dame football. Dolphins begin their second possession of the first quarter at their own 20-yard line, 3:31 to go. Miami leading 3-0 on a 53-yarder by Pete Stoyanovich. On first down, Kenny Higgs, or Mark Higgs, I should say, again slipping through a tight hole. Tony Woods makes the stop for Seattle after a 5-yard pickup for Higgs. The Seahawks front seven. Jeff Bryant, after 10 years at right end, moves over to left end this year in the 4-3 defense. David Wyman, veteran at middle linebacker. Cortez Kennedy is really the key man in the front seven. It's a patched-up secondary. Nesby Glasgow getting the start at strong safety today. They waived the veteran in preseason, had to bring him back. Today he's back on the field as a starter in place of Robert Blackman. Again, Marino throws a near interception. This one almost into the hands of Eugene Robinson. Tony Martin, the intended receiver. And that'll make it 3rd down and 5.
Here's a man that Marino does not want to spend too much time with this Sunday, and that is Cortez Kennedy. Watch him come whipping around there, and just as Marino lets that ball go, Cortez Kennedy says, hello. Hurries are almost more important than sacks to me, because when you get a hurry, you get a chance to get an interception.
Tez says, Danny, why didn't you come to my house yesterday? 3rd down, 4 yards to go. Dolphins trying to run for it. That is Bobby Humphrey with the football, and Humphrey is met and dropped in the open field by reserve safety man Dedrick Dodge. And that will force the Dolphins to kick. So, 2 possessions, no first downs for Miami so far. Seahawks in control on defense.
The Dolphins not able to really get into their rhythm. They want to start with trying to run the ball and get the Seahawks back on their heels a little bit and then come back with their throwing attack. I think we're going to see them put the ball up in the air a little bit more the next time they get the ball.
You saw Joe Prokop, the man who won the punting derby, to replace Reggie Roby, while Roby waits on the injured reserve list. Chris Warren takes the football at his 28-yard line. And Warren gets across the 35 to about the 37-yard line. 44-yard kick. And the Dolphins will have it, or the Seahawks will have it, I should say, when we return.
Introducing Levi's loose-fitting jeans. A loose interpretation of the original.
How much insulation do you have in your attic? 3 inches? 6 inches? Well, the Department of Energy recommends R38 for most American homes, which is equivalent to a foot of Owens Corning pink fiberglass. So grab a ruler and measure your attic insulation. Then get rolling. And get a foothold on your energy bills. For more information, call 1-800-GET-PINK.
If your face was square, shaving would be simple, but your face has curves, presenting the revolutionary Schick Tracer, the only twin-blade razor that flexes to follow the curves of your face. Schick Tracer, we're changing the face of shaving.
Castrol GTX is the only leading motor oil that meets the world's toughest requirements for viscosity breakdown in every grade. This is the only way to get that kind of performance from any other leading brand. Castrol GTX, engineered for today's smaller cars.
As we bring you back to the Kingdome, the Seattle Seahawks have had 2 successful series on defense. The man bending over in the background there, Tom Catlin, the assistant head coach for defense. A holdover from the previous coaching staff of Chuck Knox, Ahmad.
I think when you go out and you try to decide who is going to be the best coach for you when you put together your coaching staff, I think Tom Flores could not pass up Tom Catlin because he has been around in this business for so long, always been an excellent defensive coordinator. The players love playing for him. And in talking to him yesterday, he said, well, we think that our defense can keep us in this football game. We know that the pressure is going to be on us whether or not we can win this game or not. And they've done well so far.
On first down for the Seahawks, Chris Warren again with the football, and the Dolphins keying on Warren. Hold him to a pickup of about a yard. T.J. Turner making the stop for Miami. Are you impressed with the secure ego of a head coach, in this case Flores, who will keep holdovers from the previous coach's staff of assistants?
Certainly. I think that if you're going in and you're a coach like Tom Flores, who is sort of an overseer, you have to have the best possible staff that you can have and let them work. So if I'm looking for a defensive coordinator, I don't care who he worked for before. I want a guy who is capable of doing a job, and Catlin is that man.
Second down, 8. Call it a pickup of 2 on first down for Warren. And Stauffer again gives to Warren, and this time he gets some running room straight up the middle. First down yardage near the 50-yard line. They'll mark it right at midfield. Jarvis Williams made the stop for the Dolphins. It is a pickup of 11 yards for Chris Warren.
Chris Warren reads his blocks perfectly. You see him break through that hole. Now that's where you see the power, where he's running through tackles. As I mentioned earlier, he's a big man with a lot of speed and has that ability to break those tackles, and also has the ability to hit it for the home run.
You see the numbers for Chris Warren a week ago against New England, really coming into his own here in the early season for the Seahawks. Again, Warren with the football, and another big gain across the 45 down to the 43-yard line. Again, T.J. Turner making the stop for the Dolphins. And Ahmad, you made the point earlier. They allowed Derek Finner to go away in Plan B. It raised a lot of eyebrows, but there's the reason why.
Certainly did. Here you got a guy who led the league in touchdowns, and you trade him. You say, oh, how do you do that? Well, you do that because you have a guy like Chris Warren, who went to a little teeny school in Virginia called Ferrum.
Yeah, it's actually a small college where big colleges used to stockpile players. When they couldn't meet the academic requirement to be recruited as freshmen, they'd send them to Ferrum for a year, let them get the grades up, and then bring them in. Warren actually went there from Virginia. He went the opposite path and stayed there. And right now, the Miami Dolphins have a 3-0 lead at the end of the first quarter in Seattle. We'll be back.
Whatever happened to clear investment signals? Real returns can improve while interest rates decline. Consumer spending can increase even as consumer confidence slips. In these dizzying times, it pays to hire an investment firm with a sure sense of balance. Smith Barney.
As we bring you back to Seattle for the beginning of second quarter action, you see the man who has given Tom Flores carte blanche, in effect, to run the franchise. Ken Behring, often referred to in the newspapers here, Ahmad, as a hands-on owner, and he's a little mystified by that.
Yeah, I don't think he's a hands-on owner at all. Here's a guy that bought this franchise and didn't do anything. Let the people run it. He's only made 2 decisions, one in bringing Flores on, and then last year in getting a new coach. And Flores figured if he had to hire the coach, why not hire him himself? But Behring, a big football fan that lets his football people run the business.
And right now, Kelly Stauffer running the business reasonably well on the field. That completion in the flat to Reuben Mays picks up another Seattle first down. Inside the Miami 40 to the 37-yard line, Marco Coleman has the second tackle of his National Football League career as he makes the stop on Mays.
The funny thing about Marco Coleman, I was talking to him, and he was saying, well, you know, the rookie tackle that the Seahawks have, Ray Roberts, I played against in college, and I handled him for 3 years. I talked to Ray Roberts. I said, what about Marco Coleman? He said, I played against him in college, and I handled him. So I told him before the game that I got conflicting reports. He said, well, we'll find out after today.
Revisionist history subject to rewriting today on the field. Saw the Dolphins jumping as Offerdahl made the stop. No Lennon on the field. So the play goes as no gain for Seattle, and another run stop for one of the best in the league, John Offerdahl. Inside linebacker for Miami.
He is one of these people that can explode on the run. There are a lot of linebackers that can hit you if you're standing up straight. But Offerdahl is one of these guys at the full run. He can explode and unload on you like not many linebackers in this league can do.
2nd down 10. 4 different running backs have touched the ball so far for Seattle. Stauffer this time has Lewis Clark, wide receiver out of Mississippi State. Troy Vincent making the stop for the Dolphins, but for the 3rd time today, Vincent's coverage is a little loose.
I think the decision to go to Lewis Clark. Watch Stauffer. He goes from one side to the other, making an excellent decision. Finds a wide open Lewis Clark, who is a big receiver, who's also very fast with excellent hands.
And now it is 3rd down, a yard to go after the 9-yard pickup by Clark.
You know, so you talk about pioneers in this area, you can't help but think about Lewis and Clark.
Of course. On 3rd and a yard, they pitch to Chris Warren, and Warren has 1st down yardage across the 28 down to about the 26-yard line. Grimsley made the stop for the Dolphins. They ran behind the rookie tackle Ray Roberts on the left side, and he got the job done.
And he's a nice pitch out there. Chris Warren making excellent decisions. As soon as he found a little crack, he put his head down and went forward. A good lead block there, too.
James Jones, number 30, with the lead block out in front. That was really the key to picking up 1st down yardage for Warren. They're at the 26. Dolphins have trailed only briefly this year in the 4th quarter of the Cleveland game after the Browns made their near miracle comeback. Stauffer, all the time in the world, wants to go into the end zone, and he's got number 84, Lewis Clark. .26-yard touchdown pass, and the Dolphin coverage finally just wore out after all that time that Stauffer bought for himself.
It is impossible to cover a wide receiver for this long. You just got to credit this offensive line by keeping the pressure off of Stauffer. And Stauffer stepping back, waves Lewis Clark to go deep, and just puts the ball up there. And that was made entirely by the offensive line by giving Stauffer that time to throw the ball to Lewis Clark. You can't cover. They couldn't cover me for that long. Well, maybe me they could cover, but they certainly couldn't cover Lewis Clark.
John Casey knocks it through for Seattle. And with 12-12 to go before halftime, it is 7-0 or 7-3 Seahawks.
More than 1 million of you have gotten to know Geo, the most successful new line of cars and trucks ever introduced. Get to know Geo at your Chevrolet Geo dealers.
Getting to know
In developing a completely new car, the possibilities are endless. At Geo, we brought all the pieces together beautifully. The newest Geo, Geo Prism, coming soon to your Chevrolet Geo dealers. Right now, and you'll be enjoying our unlimited toppings pizza deal during the game.
As we bring you back to Seattle, the Seahawks have just completed an 8-play, 63-yard drive with the 26-yard scoring pass. Kelly Stauffer to that man, Lewis Clark, to go on top of the Dolphins 7-3, 12-12 to go before halftime. And John Casey will kick it away for the Dolphins. Aaron Craver and Bobby Humphrey deep at the goal line for Miami. That is Craver backing up in the end zone. Humphrey says, stay right here, Aaron, and he will. Football will come out to the 20-yard line. Another look at the touchdown play.
And Stauffer waving Lewis Clark to take it deep, puts the ball right there. Easy play. But when you have that much time to run a route and to throw the ball, it should end up in a touchdown. But watch Stauffer at the end of this play. See him pump there. He's still looking for more time. But watch right after he throws this ball, gets thrown to the ground. Watch him scramble up to see if the guy catches it. All three of those guys looking to see if it was a touchdown. And then they celebrate, and the other ones say you were lucky that time.
And the rookie Vincent gives up his first NFL touchdown pass, but you can't pin that one on him. Just too much time. Crowd making noise on 1st down. Marino flags down, nothing going, but Marino gets it down the field. And it's 89 Tony Martin with the football. David Wyman and Dwayne Harper making the stop for the Seahawks. Red Cashin checks with his men to see what the flag is all about.
There is one play that always kills drives when it works against you, but this time it's against the Seattle Seahawks. It looks like a holding call.
And the Dolphins can elect to keep their 14-yard gain.
Illegal use of the hands to the face. Number 99 on the defense. That penalty is declined. First down!
Hands to the face by Tasmania Cortez Kennedy.
And there you see Cortez firing off the line. He's got his hand caught up in that face mask just a little bit. And when you have as much as, there it is, he's really in the face mask, and therefore he gets the call.
On first down, the Dolphins give to Mark Higgs. And Cortez Kennedy wraps up Higgs after a pickup of 3. It will be 2nd down 7.
Watch Cortez Kennedy in front of Keith Sims, and this is when a 300-pounder comes firing off the line of scrimmage. Watch, there's Kennedy. He just takes Sims and just throws him to the ground, and still stays on the play and ends up making the tackle. That's just pure brute strength.
2nd down 7. Again, the Seahawks crowd tries to disrupt the Dolphin offense. Marino momentarily gets away from pressure, but then throws the ball away. Tony Woods, number 57, was the man who was looking for a rare sack of the Miami QB.
What happened was Cortez Kennedy was double-teamed by Richmond Webb and Keith Sims, and you watch them double-team, and right after the double-team, in comes Tony Woods to put this pressure on Marino, but he knows how to avoid a sack and gets rid of the ball. Kennedy causing all kinds of problems in that offensive line of the Miami Dolphins.
3rd down 7. Marino has only 1 completion in the game, and the Dolphins are 0 for 2 on 3rd down conversions to this point. Another good rush by the Seahawks. Marino unloads, and it's picked off by Dwayne Harper. Harper across the 40. Inside the 30. Only Bobby Humphrey could have stopped him, and Humphrey makes the touchdown-saving tackle at the 17-yard line. Bad choice by Dan Marino, unloading under pressure to no particular target.
I mentioned earlier that a sack is not as big as a hurry. And all of a sudden now Marino is into a hurry situation, trying to find a receiver downfield and trying to find some room, and just gets rid of the ball without looking downfield. And then all of a sudden Dwayne Harper ends up with the interception. And hurries cause interceptions. Sack, you just get a loss, a down. But I really think that hurries are the big defensive stat that you can put on a quarterback.
31-yard interception return for Harper. Do they still yell Oski, Oski, Oski back there when they have an interception to let the defenders know to turn around and be blockers?
I think they got some hipper things they say now.
Yeah, it's not so hip, is it? Oski, very 50s. On first down from the 17-yard line, Chris Warren gets inside the 15 down to about the 12-yard line. Oliver and Grimsley make the stop for the Dolphins.
Dan Marino and this Miami Dolphin team, I think when you watch the films of the Seattle Seahawks in their past game against New England, they look so bad that even no matter what your coaches tell you in the meetings during the week, you're looking at a film of a team that's not playing very well at all. So you could come in here and expect to blow this team out. All of a sudden, they're seeing a different team here in Seattle than they saw on film all week against New England. This team came ready to play Seattle.
2nd down 5. Again, Warren gets the football. This time, the Dolphin defense reads it effectively, and he's lucky to get back for no gain. John Grimsley made the stop along with Jarvis Williams. Watching the Dolphin offense, Ahmad, I'm wondering if they have been shown a lot of films of the Seahawk offense and said to themselves, hey, that looks miserably out of sync. Maybe we can do it too.
They have not been in sync so far. But they got a, they got a veteran there at the quarterback. They got a coach like Don Shula. I got a feeling that it won't be long before Marino gets back in sync, and they can score in a hurry. That's the thing about this team. You can never be too far ahead.
3rd down now. 4 yards to go for the first down. They actually credited Warren with a gain of a yard. Stopper hit from behind. Again, the football pops loose. This time it was Brian Cox. Earlier in the game, it was number 92, David Griggs, who robbed the stopper of the football on a similar play while sacking him from behind, and now we'll wait to see who's got it here. Could mean the loss of a field goal opportunity for Seattle.
This is where the weight room comes in. See, when the ball is like moving around in there, the guy with the biggest arms is the one that usually comes up with the ball. Yep. It's just a tussle in him to try to pull the ball out.
Looks like sixth-year guard Derek Brills, number 84, came up with the football. Or number 64, I should say. And indeed, it preserves the field goal opportunity for Seattle.
There is one of the more calm, cool characters in this entire league. He's like Bud Grant. He looks the same no matter what the score is on the board. Very calm and collected. Said he came back to coaching because he realized he was addicted to football.
So John Casey, you see his numbers on the year, will now try a 35-yarder. And the left-footed Casey bangs it right down the pipe. And the Seahawks, capitalizing on the interception of a Marino pass, go up 10-3 midway second quarter. And deep to receive from Miami, Aaron Craver and Bobby Humphrey. Casey kicked the last one very deep into the end zone. This time, Craver takes it at the goal line. And Craver is belted to the turf by number 55, Bob Spitulski, rookie linebacker out of Central Florida University. 22-yard return of the kick. The Seahawks will start just at their 21-yard line. Monday on NBC, an all-new comedy with the Fresh Prince Blossom Hour. Then it's an NBC world premiere movie, Fergie and Andrew Behind the Palace Doors. Find out what the tabloids are talking about and what landed Fergie in such hot water. All new, all on NBC, Monday, tomorrow night. From the 22-yard line, the Dolphins trying to get something going on offense. It has been sporadic at best so far. And Mark Higgs is wrapped up after a gain of 2 yards. Number 57, Tony Woods, making the stop for Seattle. That's Spitulski, who made the tackle on the kickoff, looking for what appears to be a shoulder pad adjustment, or perhaps he has bruised a shoulder.
That's always interesting. You see those guys on those kickoff coverage teams running down there and making a great hit, and 8 times out of 10, they're the ones that get toted off the field. That's a tough job there.
Yeah, but then they got to go out and do it again the next time. Because it's either hit or be waived if you're on the special teams.
Exactly right.
On second down, 9 yards to go. Marino crossing over the middle to Tony Page. First touch of the football today for the Dolphin fullback. David Wyman makes the stop. And Page is across the 30, near the 32-yard line. He's got to get it just outside the 32 for a first down. Pickup of 6 yards.
And you see Marino in there talking to Tony Page, because when he caught that ball, you got to turn around and take it up the field right away. You get the first down. By using that stutter step in there, he ends up coming up short. And that was Marino telling him, who's always aware of everything, talks to everybody on the field, telling Tony Page to keep going forward.
Dolphins 0 for 3 on third down conversions. On the last third down attempt, Marino threw an interception. 3rd and 1. Mark Higgs looking for first down yardage, hit by Joe Kane, 4th-year linebacker out of Oregon Tech. And Higgs has the first down at the 33-yard line. Big win for your Fighting Ducks yesterday.
Boy, they beat somebody up yesterday. I don't even remember what team it was. One of them ranked teams, wasn't it?
You would have thought they had Bobby Moore back there.
That's right, boy. They rolled up the score on somebody yesterday.
It is first down Miami, 33-yard line. Dolphins trying to get their offense in gear before halftime. Marino throws over everybody. Tony Martin was covered at the sideline. Nesby Glasgow and Dwayne Harper together on the coverage. And Marino now 2 of 7 for 14 yards in the game. Well, Danny Marino came into the game ranked 7th in the league, only behind Randall Cunningham, Steve Young, Jim Kelly, Chris Chandler, Troy Aikman, and Vinny Testaverde. A couple of surprising names in that top list. Kelly Stouffer was down at the bottom of the league's rankings coming in. He ranked 26th, ahead only of Ken O'Brien, Hugh Millen, Jim Everett, and Stan Humphries. And so far today, it has been Stouffer who's hot and Marino who is not. 2nd and 10. Screen pass complete to Bobby Humphrey. Humphrey has a gang of Seahawks around him, including Terry Wooden. the outside linebacker, and Jeff Bryant as he stopped after a gain of a yard.
They are using Bobby Humphrey in the way that they used to use Jim Jensen in the past. And Jim Jensen was a ball control type receiver that would come in on third down, run a pass route, and able to pick up the first down. With Bobby Humphrey, they have a guy that if he can break a tackle, he puts so much more pressure on your defense that he can break a tackle and take it all the way. He comes in as a third down specialist.
4 wide receivers, 3 of them to the near side of the field on third down, 8 for Marino. Humphrey releases from his block. Marino goes down the middle instead to number 85, Duper, and Duper makes a tough catch in traffic to give the Dolphins a little boost and a first down before rookie free agent cornerback Raphael Robinson made the stop.
Watch this pass go right by the defender before he can even turn around. Whap! It's there. See, with Marino, you can be close and still not be able to make the play because he puts the ball on the receiver so quick that you don't have time to react and try to knock it down. And Duper has been playing with Marino for so many years that they really have a thing going. Gotten better over the years and playing well now.
On first down, Marino going deep, and he overthrows Duper near the goal line. Patrick Hunter with outstanding coverage on Mark Duper.
Mike Duper has been in the league, I think, over 10 years and still has that blazing speed. You see, this is his pattern of play. A little out and then up. And watch him turn the speed on right here. Goes right by, but the ball is thrown just a little bit too far. But Duper, this will pay off. This will pay dividends because they know that they want to go deep to Duper. He'll be able to run the shorter routes now.
And, you know, looking at that tough catch over the middle one play before Ahmad, you really have to hand it to Duper. He was terrific 10 years ago when his skills were mostly track skills. He has embellished and added football playing talent over the years.
He certainly has. He is a clutch receiver.
Marino across the middle, number 80, Farrell Edmonds, the big tight end with the football, and Edmonds is met by David Wyman and Patrick Hunter, but he picks up 9 yards and gets it close to a first down inside Seahawk territory at the 44-yard line.
Farrell Edmonds, a big, huge tight end. I was talking to Marino the other day, and he said, you know what, if we could possibly add Keith Jackson on this team.
Do you think there's a quarterback in the league that doesn't go to sleep at night dreaming about Keith Jackson these days?
That's right. He said I would be going up and down the field throwing every ball to the tight end.
Third down, 2 yards to go. They call it a gain of 8 to Edmonds. Dolphins throwing on every down now. 4 wide receivers evenly split, 2 to each side. Marino with Bobby Humphrey next to him. No flags down. Completion in the flat for a first down to Freddie Banks.
Great play by Freddie Banks, who came back out of his pattern to make the catch and then turned around and take it back up to get the first down. Here's a guy they put on waivers, came back when Clayton got hurt and is playing very well for this team. You watch him come back to make the catch, get up and then go forward to get the first down. Just great awareness by that receiver to know where the first down marker was.
And after they bring him back from waivers, he is instrumental in the game-ending, game-winning drive at Cleveland on Monday night. First down now for the Dolphins at the 35-yard line. Higgs gives back to number 89, Tony Martin, and Martin is met and dropped by Wooden on a reverse play that the Seahawks read rather well. 2-yard loss. The veteran Jeff Bryant was there as well.
So much pressure up the field. You see Marino with the pitch back to Higgs, who hands it off to Martin, but there's so much pressure on this side. They force Martin into turning the play back inside. Once you turn it back inside, there's no chance because that's where all your help's coming from. Wooden with a great play of staying at home and turning that play back up the field.
Very good. 14 tackles this year out of Syracuse. Second down, 12 yards to go. Marino up under center with Page and Higgs the setbacks. He looks for Higgs and has him inside the 30 to about the 26-yard line before Nesby Glasgow, the 14-year veteran, former Washington Husky, makes the stop for Seattle.
We talked about this Miami Dolphin offense getting in sync, and the longer they're on the field, the better they get. They're almost like a car. When you start it up cold, it doesn't run on all the cylinders, and after that sucker starts getting warm, I mean, well, I guess they're like a car. They're like a Ferrari. Once it gets really warm, they really go to work. And Marino, as you can see, is starting to warm up, moving the ball all over the field, not throwing to one receiver.
Marino at one point was 2 for 7. Now he is 7 of 13. Having hit 5 of the last 6. time he throws behind Edmonds, and the flag comes from the back judge, who may have seen a pass interference.
Dan Marino, if you notice, see, Dan Marino goes and talks to all his receivers. He expected Farrell Edmonds to turn it back into the inside. They get help here because the penalty is against the Seattle Seahawks. A holding
defensive
penalty.
holding.
But see, they're still talking there. Marino
by the defense before the ball was thrown. 5 yards, first down.
That's a real quarterback for you. You talk about a quarterback knowing where everybody's supposed to be. Marino, and in their offense, if there's a guy in front of you, you turn it back the other way. That's where he threw the ball, but Edmonds kept going the other way.
Second Seattle penalty. They've added up to 20 yards worth. Gives the Dolphins a first down at the 21-yard line. Higgs hit at the line of scrimmage, bursts forward for about 3 to the 18. David Wyman gets credit for the stop. And at the 2-minute warning, we are in the Kingdome in Seattle, where Miami trails 10-3. Costas in the studio with O.J. Simpson and today's special guest, Joe Namath. Scores and highlights from all around the NFL. We'll be taking you there at halftime. Incidentally, it is no doubt in honor of the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report. I'm odd that earlier this week, Dan Marino brought the whole Dolphin team Domino's pizzas after practice, which brings up a point that we'll get to in a moment. On second down, 8 yards to go. Tony Page with the reception from Marino gets out of bounds, stopping the clock. 1:55 before halftime. Patrick Hunter makes the stop. It'll be 3rd and short for the Dolphins. If you are going to buy pizza for an entire professional football team, be sure you have a Dan Marino-style guaranteed contract first.
But let's talk about that contract. 5 years, $25 million, and he buys pizza? They should have had steaks.
The guys didn't want caviar. He said, how about the good beluga? They said, no, the good Domino's. On third down, 2. Got to get the football to about the 11-yard line. And with noise in the background from the crowd trying to disrupt the signals, Marino misses Tony Martin. Patrick Hunter had him bound and circumscribed in the flat.
Well, this is one of those places. This is one of the noisiest stadiums in the league, and you can see a little confusion there on the snap count in the play, and they're hurried to get the play off, and Marino just misses on this one, but almost pass interference there by Patrick Hunter. Almost, I guess, doesn't
that
count.
Was quite a gamble for Hunter.
It certainly was.
Stoyanovich with a 53-yarder already to his credit to try to get the Dolphins to within 4 points on this 31-yard attempt. And it is good. So the second field goal of the game for Pete Stoyanovich, the Dolphins. They have yet to put together a touchdown drive. It's 10-6 Seattle.
Work your...
As we bring you back to the Kingdome and Pete Stoyanovich prepares to kick it off for the Dolphins, Miami trails 10-6. They've just picked up the 31-yard field goal from Stoyanovich after a 15-play, 64-yard drive. They held the football for more than 7 minutes on that possession and narrowed the margin to 4 at 10-6. Difference in the ball game. Seattle, with Kelly Stauffer playing surprisingly well off his early season performance to this point, has the only touchdown in the football game. Stauffer to Lewis Clark, 26 yards. Stojanovich's kick is fielded by James Jones on the fly, and Jones, the up man, is going to give the Seahawks pretty good field position with plenty of time left before halftime. So Seattle's in business at its 36-yard line, already leading 10-6 when we come back. Number 11, the fourth-year quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks out of Colorado State, Kelly Stauffer. A lot of attention has been paid to the players in the McNeil case and the 4 players who were made free agents last week. But he actually forced the trade to Seattle after having been drafted by the Cardinals with his own antitrust suit against the NFL 5 years ago. Showed some nerve then. Seahawks hope he shows the same nerve as their starting quarterback. Clark in motion on first down, and Seattle elects to go to the ground and gets 8 yards from Chris Warren across the 40 to about the 43-yard line. Lewis Oliver makes the stop for the Dolphins.
And talking about Kelly Stouffer, here's a guy that not only has to prove it to the coaches that he can play, but also to the rest of his teammates, because he's replacing a guy that went to a Pro Bowl who was a bona fide quarterback. And when you're a player, you keep checking on that guy to see if you think he can really play to lead you to victory every single week. So, you know, the jury's still out on him a little bit.
Huge decision on the part of Seattle to let Dave Craig go in plan B. Stouffer runs out of bounds for the first down, stops the clock, moves the chains, keeps the football at the 49-yard line. Safe decision with the Seahawk QB.
Stouffer, and we watched him play last week, and he made a couple of bad decisions in a situation like this by just throwing the ball up for grabs. Here, you can see he's learning. He can't find a receiver, takes it down, picks up the first down, and stops the clock. Getting better every play.
How about that huddle breaking clap? A little bit more authority today?
A little bit more authority. Last week, I think
wide open, and a first down at the 15-yard line, and a flag down as Jeff Chadwick, the veteran receiver from Grand Valley State. But this one may go against the offense.
Yeah, I think the running back turned up too soon.
That was Vernon Turner, who was in motion.
Let's see if they got him. Yep.
And that took away a big first down for the Rams inside the 15-yard line.
Chuck Knox knows that's why they've lost 12 of the last 13 games. Stupid things like
Illegal
that.
motions, offense, 2 men moving at the same time. 5-yard penalty, second down.
I saw Turner turn up. Somebody else was moving, so you know, when things like that happen, you don't want to go into a film study with Chuck Knox after you lose. I mean, he just eats you alive.
Oh, yeah. You talk to the players, hey, film does not lie, gentlemen. And Knox says, roll it.
Liberty Mutual Insurance presents Legends of the Game. A sublime combination of steely nerves and iron will. He wrought destruction for more than a decade on the league's most dominating defense. As the man in the middle, he led the Steelers to 4 world championships with relentless pressure and punishing hits. Who was this legend?
He can only catch in the flat area. This guy can take it deep.
So it'll be first down, 10 yards still to go at the 11-yard line. 45 seconds left before halftime. Seahawks used one of their 3 timeouts there, so they have 2 remaining. Stouffer with plenty of time goes for the fade in the corner of the end zone to the fullback, John L. Williams. Flags are down as the pass falls incomplete. Number 51, Brian Cox, was the man who wound up with the football. Are they going to call it an interception? Yes, they are.
Brian Cox appeared
number 73 on the offense. That penalty is declined. First down.
Oh, that's a big play. Let's see if we can get another look at how Brian Cox wound up with the football.
Huge play here by the Miami Dolphin defense. Brian Cox appears to be beat on this play. Stouffer throws the ball just a little bit, underthrows it a little bit, but watch Cox make this play. Linebackers usually do not have that good of hands. That's the reason they play linebacker.
One-hand catch with the inside hand. How do you do that?
I don't think he knows how he's done that. I guarantee you that at some point in his career he was a fullback and he probably couldn't catch, so they made him a linebacker.
I just discounted the notion he had caught it because he only got the inside hand on the ball. If you're going to make a one-handed grab, it has to be the outside hand. Logically, that's the one the ball comes to.
It looked like he knocked it down, but was able to hold on to it.
So first down for the Dolphins from the 20-yard line as they dodge a scoring bullet from Seattle. Humphrey on first down with the football, wrapped up by Rufus Porter, the right side linebacker. Dolphins are content to let the clock run.
This Dolphin team is seeing an entirely different team that they saw in film from playing last week, because the Seahawks are playing extremely well.
Quite a wake-up call for Miami, which had a chance to go to halftime trailing 17-6. They are lucky to get there, only 4 points down. And the Dolphins...
Very fast.
Last 3 sacks already this year, does Porter, and he leads the team in tackles. On 2nd down 10, Seahawks in the nickel defense, and Cortez Kennedy is there to wrap up the running play for a pickup of, well, make it a loss of a yard. It'll be 3rd down and 11.
This man is a force, Cortez Kennedy. You see him play the run there perfectly. Holds off the blocker, sheds the blocker, and then makes the tackle. That is just fine football play by Cortez Kennedy.
Mark Higgs is 5'7" and 195, and Kennedy is 6'3" and close to 300 pounds. He can pick him up, spin him, do whatever he wants. On 3rd down 11, the Dolphins hoping to make an offensive statement to begin the second half, so far bottled up by the Seahawk defense. And Marino hurries the throw across the middle. It is picked off by number 41, Eugene Robinson. And Robinson brings it back to the Dolphin 43-yard line. Second time today that Marino has hurried a throw and made a bad decision, producing an interception for the Seahawk defense. They lead 10-6.
I take my son to daycare every day, and his security is my primary concern.
Brought to you by Mitsubishi, bringing you a full line of award-winning automobiles. Mitsubishi, the word is getting around. By Goodyear, #1 in tires. By ITT Corporation, building people's dreams. And by Coors Light, the silver bullet is the right beer now.
Here is a wonderful play by Eugene Robinson. You see Marino hit Humphrey with the ball. Now watch on the way down. Eugene Robinson just strips this ball away from Bobby Humphrey and takes off down the field. It wasn't an interception. It was a completion, and then he stripped the ball. They call it a fumble.
Pretty tough on the play-by-play man, but that is indeed the way it is ruled. A strip and a fumble recovery, not an INT. On 1st down, Stauffer's arm appeared to be hit as he tried to release to Lewis Clark. J.B. Brown on the coverage for the Dolphins.
Half-to-half improvement, always the most important part of a victory. And the Seahawks went in at halftime ahead. They have got to play better. That's the way you win games. You just get better and better as the game goes on.
Kelly Stauffer in the first half was 11 of 14 for 122 yards. So making 11 of 15 on the game. This from a man who was completing fewer than 50% coming in. Chris Warren is wrapped up as the Seahawks try to fool the Dolphins with the running play on 2nd and 10. He got a gain of 2. And Chuck Klingbeil, the nose tackle, made the stop for Miami.
Don Shula said he had to change the complexion of his team a little bit. He wanted to get more aggressive, active, physical type players, and that's why they go with Marco Coleman and Cox and some of the other players that are just a little bit more aggressive than they have been in the past.
Well, the Dolphins have had trouble making the playoffs in recent years, and largely because they have been pushed around defensively. On 3rd down 9, Stauffer with the half roll stops and tries to throw to Doug Thomas coming back across the middle. And that was the poorest throw of the day for Kelly Stauffer.
And he had a lot of time to make that completion, just didn't have anybody wide open and not able to find a spot to get that ball into Doug Thomas.
So what was the standard routine for the Seahawks last week against New England obtains here. 3 and out, Rick Tootin, who kicked the football 9 times last week against New England, comes on for his 2nd punt of the day. Number 82 deep for the Dolphins is Scott Miller. And that is a poor kick. Seahawks get a little bit of a roll, but it's going to go out of bounds at the 21-yard line. A short punt for Tootin of only 27 yards. In King County, Washington, where the Dolphins, hoping to be kings of the AFC East, are trailing the Seahawks 10-6. Second possession of the half for the Dolphins. This time they start on the ground with Mark Higgs, and Higgs makes a good move coming back against the grain to get across the 25. A pickup of 5 yards. It'll be 2nd down from the 26-yard line.
Very important for the Miami Dolphins to get something started right here. As you see Higgs make a good decision, breaks it back outside and picks up some pretty good yardage there, but you want to try to get your offense on a roll right now.
Higgs again, behind Page and the guards, cuts it back up the middle. David Wyman makes the stop. They'll be short of first down yardage, still inside the 30. Need to get the football out to the 31.
When you're a cutback runner, one thing you got to be aware of is number 99. Anytime you cut back, that's the man you'd be cutting back into. Every time I see him out there, it reminds me I used to play football out in the street. I got knocked into a DeSoto one time. And to watch these people out here, that man out there is like a big old DeSoto right there in the middle of the field.
On third down, with flags flying, they're going to stop the play.
I learned a lot about getting knocked into that DeSoto. Rufus Porter was a little bit too quick off the mark.
False start. Number 78 on the offense.
Going to make it tougher for the Dolphins. Richmond Webb, celebrated two-time Pro Bowl tackle. Gets a false start and makes it third down, 9 yards to go for the first down. I'll never forget a picture I saw somewhere once of a big chrome-covered automobile poised at a riverbank, and it said, DeSoto discovering the Mississippi.
I don't think that's the one I ran into.
Third down, 9 yards to go now. Dolphins in the spread with 4 wide receivers. And Marino throws a perfect strike to Tony Martin for first down yardage out across the 35 to the 36-yard line. Malcolm Frank, number 31, on the coverage for Seattle. 14-yard pickup, best throw of the day for Dan.
You watch the velocity on this ball. You see Malcolm Frank, number 31, is not able to turn around in time to make a play on the ball. Anybody else throws that ball out there, Malcolm Frank picks it off and goes in for a score, but Marino, with that quick release and that velocity, gets that ball in for the first down.
Over the middle page. The Dolphins trying to work the Seahawk defense. Rufus Porter and Terry Wooden making the stop from their outside linebacker positions.
Tony Page finds a home here in Miami. He used to be with the Jets, and he was at Detroit, but Don Shula said this is a guy that comes in. He's got such enthusiasm about the game. You know, does everything they ask him to do. Great blocker, great receiver, and he is really a stalwart as far as this Miami offense is concerned.
Listed at 235, looks as though he might have sneaked a couple of extra pounds onto the frame.
Expecting a baby boy in the upcoming weeks.
That is Mark Higgs cutting back inside on second and short, picking up the first down across midfield before Eugene Robinson makes the stop for the Seahawks. The Dolphins looking for continuity and momentum on offense, and for the moment generating it with some imaginative play calling.
This is the way they want. Don Shula wants his offense to work. He wants to be able to run the ball successfully and then not have to rely solely on the pass, but knowing that when you got a guy like Dan Marino, at any point he may go downtown, puts pressure on the defense.
So on first down now in Seahawk territory at the 48-yard line. Plenty of time. Another perfect throw on the out. It is Duper with the catch before Patrick Hunter makes the stop for Seattle. What chance does the defensive back have on the well-thrown out pattern?
And the timing. You know, it's the out ball that's not only thrown right, but as soon as you see the receiver turn around, the ball is right on him. You have no chance. The only thing you have to do is make sure that you make the tackle.
And correction, it was Tony Martin again, not Duper with the catch. So Martin on the third and long out to the near side of the field. Now he picks up another first down on the first down out pattern to the far side of the field. This time Martin is to the bottom of your screen again on first down. Long count. Again underneath to Page. Second catch of the drive for the Dolphin fullback. David Wyman with the stop along with Dave Harper. And they will mark it close to the first down. Inside the Seahawk 30 at the 26-yard line. They'll give him credit for it. So make it a 10-yard gain. Move the chains again.
And Shula has this offense working now. This is the kind of thing they just relentless when they start to attack you. Tony Page catching that ball out of the backfield. He punishes those little defensive backs when they come up and try to make a tackle.
This is the way the Dolphins had been moving the ball in first quarter play in their 2 preceding games. They were unstoppable in the first quarter. perfect throw this time to Mark Duper along the sideline. Harper with the stop. But for the moment, the Seahawk corners defenseless against Marino and his wide receivers running the out pattern.
Especially a fellow like you saw earlier. You saw Mark Duper take it deep. Now you got to give him a lot of room. He gives you that same move like he's going downtown and then breaks it out. And the timing is just incredible. As soon as he makes the cut to the sideline, the ball is right there. You can't stop that.
When you're in rhythm with the quarterback, you make that cut on the out pattern, you have to feel awfully confident, Ahmad. I've got him where I want him. First down 10 at the 11-yard line. Bobby Humphrey with the ball across the 10, met by Terry Wooden after a pickup of about a yard.
They are now down in the area where they hope they'd get improvement. In the past, when they got down in this area, they'd have to throw 3 passes to try to get in the end zone. Now, with Bobby Humphrey, Mark Higgs, and the offensive line that they have, they hope they can hand the ball off and run it in for the touchdown. That's what Shula was telling me the other day. We want to try to run it in for a score.
59,374 in the Kingdome. Miami can get a first down without scoring. Higgs is met and dropped, and number 92, David Weinman, pouring in from the middle linebacker position, had it cool.
David Weinman just reads this play perfectly. Misdirection play. When the guard pulls, Weinman feels and makes the play.
So now it will be third down, 10 yards to go for the Dolphins as Wyman goes to the sideline. The Seahawks with 6 defensive backs on the field. Dolphins 4 of 8 on third downs. 4 of the last 5 have been converted. See if he goes to the out pattern again. No! Stopped by number 33, Dedrick Dodge, on a gambling free safety blitz by the Seahawks defense.
Here comes the safety blitz. Dedrick Dodge with a free shot. Once you get a situation like that, you got to make the play. Nobody there to pick him up. And Dedrick Dodge with a thank you very much to the crowd. He is an excitable player. But all of a sudden, it puts Miami in a situation they got to go for 3 instead of the touchdown.
It will be a 38-yard drive for Stoyanovich. He's 2 for 2 so far in the game. And this one is good as well. The Dolphins, still without a touchdown, narrow the margin to 1, trailing 10-9 in the third.
Tom Catlin, as you see both safeties coming in blitzing Dan Marino. That's something that you never do to a quarterback like that, because he'll find that weak spot and get the ball to a wide open receiver. But what a great call. Dedrick Dodge not picked up, able to make the sack, and forcing Miami to go for the 3-pointer rather than Marino finding a player open in the end zone.
And Catlin playing by the book most of the game. No blitzing. You rarely do it to Miami because of Marino's skill. Saved it for that moment, and it paid off.
The element of surprise.
Stoyanovich now to kick it away for the Dolphins. Waiting deep for the Hawks. Chris Warren and Ruben Mays. This time it's Warren to the far side of the field. They keep kicking it to Chris Warren, who is the superior kick returner for the Seahawks. And Warren has it across the 30 to the 32-yard line before Jim Jensen. No, Stoyanovich, the kicker, number 10, made the stop for the Dolphins. And are the Dolphins looking ahead to next week's battle with the Buffalo Bills? They're the standings in the AFC East. As you see, Miami unbeaten, having played only 2 games. The Bills already putting up the victory over the Pats today. NFL Live starts it off next Sunday at 12:30. Then many of you will see Miami and Buffalo. Others will see Indianapolis against the surprising Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Second half of the doubleheader, the Seahawks against San Diego and the Kansas City Chiefs against Denver in a kind of an AFC West summit meeting. 6 minutes, 11 seconds to go in the third quarter in Seattle. The Seahawks leading.
Domino's Pizza presents Jim Kelly, Warren Moon, Jim Everett, and Bronson Pinchot for Domino's NFL Spectacular. What are these guys into? Piling it on. And if you're into piling it on, get a Domino's Unlimited Topping Pizza, only $8.99. Delivered in 30 minutes or less, guaranteed.
Hey, Bronson, go long.
Any topping you want, as many as you want. Pile them on. The Domino's Unlimited Topping Medium Pizza, just $8.99.
Keep going, Bronson.
Nobody knows like Domino's. Hey, guys, I'm open.
Mitsubishi believes that a luxury car should offer something beyond the usual luxuries. It may be extraordinary power and control, a consummate blend of comfort and performance, or a state-of-the-art four-wheel drive system. The 3000 GT, the Diamante, the Montero. Lease the luxury car of your choice. Only $399 a month for 36 months. Mitsubishi, the word is getting around.
There are two people who can raise your income and lower your taxes right now. You and your financial advisor. Call and find out how you can increase your spendable income with Nuveen tax-free mutual funds.
My car, it needs a brake job. Just my luck. My dealer makes appointments, so I'm stuck.
You've got to take your car to Midas when your brakes go bad.
Now is just the perfect time, so stop feeling sad.
Get great brake values at Midas today.
As we bring you back to the Kingdome, Kelly Stauffer. The Seattle Seahawks break the huddle, leading 10-9 over the Dolphins with 6:11 to go in the third. John L. Williams, the lone setback. He and Stauffer collide. It's going to be a loss of 2. John Grimsley with the easy chance tackle along with Brian Cox for the Dolphins.
A little bit of confusion here. John L. trying to bring that ball back inside, and Stauffer trying to hand it to him way on the outside. A little bit of confusion. They end up losing a couple of yards.
There are the numbers on Denver's win over Cleveland. Chicago in an offensive slugfest beats Atlanta. Kelly, brilliant today, more than 20 yards per completion against the Patriots. Stauffer throws in the flat to Chris Warren, and Warren with another excellent catch tries to turn upfield, but good tackling in the flat by number 26, the strong safety, Jarvis Williams.
The Seahawks like that mismatch when they can take Chris Warren and put him out there on the flank and have him being covered by Jarvis Williams. They want to try to get that ball to him as much as possible. Hopefully he can break that one tackle and take the ball down the field.
And the 5-yard pickup makes it 3rd down, 7 now for the Hawks. James Jones in the football game at tight end as the Hawks will go to a spread formation, 4 wide receivers. Warren in the slot. Stauffer is dumped on the sack by number 51, Brian Cox. Cox was the man at the ankles who pulled Stauffer down from behind. There were other Dolphin defenders there to seal matters.
These linebackers have become so athletic. You watch Cox being blocked by the quarterback, but still able to reach back and make that play. Cox is giving Ray Roberts all that he can handle. He has so much speed and quickness that it's very hard. You're out there as a tackle. You're out there on an island by yourself. It's very hard to block that guy if he has that much speed and that elusive.
Second sack of Stauffer today. He had been sacked 8 times coming into today's game. Rich Toot bangs it away, and Scott Miller goes deep for the Dolphins, gets it across the 20 and back to the 25-yard line to about the 26. It is James Jones who's downfield to make the stop for the Seahawks after the 56-yard Tootin punt. Flags down.
Jim Jensen, who has done everything for this Miami team over the past few years, was the first one to call holding. So now he's not only played every position, but he also does a little refereeing while he's out there.
Why not? Anything to stay on the roster at this point.
The more you can do.
Jensen in his 12th year out of Boston U.
Told me before the game he has never missed a day of practice in those 12 years. Never been hurt, played every single position, every single talent position, wide receiver, tight end, halfback, quarterback. Just a do-it-all player.
And all this from a man who wore a nickname in college that you derided last week.
Number 83 of the offense. 10 yards, still 4th down.
So they'll make him kick it again to wipe out the 52-yard punt by Tootin.
What was his nickname in college?
Well, you know, he played for Boston University. And last week when we had Bill Brooks in the Greens Bay Cincinnati game, I said that Bill Brooks was a Boston University Terrier.
That's
and
right.
you said, you mean they call their players the Terriers?
That's right.
Jim Jensen is yet another Terrier.
Ferocious Terriers. Aren't those little teeny dogs that rich people have?
That's right. That's exactly right. You got to be rich to go to Boston University. Newton this time from his 5-yard line. It's another high sailor. Scott Miller again backs up, this time to the 22. Seahawks over Dolphins, 4:14 to go in the third quarter. The Dolphins came out of the locker room for possession at halftime, wanting to establish some continuity on offense and take it from there. They have moved the football, but only have a field goal to show for it in this quarter. On first down, Tony Page with his 3rd catch of the half, and Rufus Porter drags him down from behind, but the Dolphins have found something, Ahmad, with the fullback looping out of the backfield.
Tony Page is such an excellent receiver coming out of the backfield, and like I mentioned earlier, he is a ton to bring down once he makes the catch. You see, Marino hit him right in stride, give him a chance to run with the ball, and now he's looking for somebody to punish. He's like a runaway bowling ball back there in that defensive secondary.
And they're working him against Rufus Porter, who's an aggressive, run-stop-oriented linebacker. And they may be able to make some hay off of that as the game goes on. Mark Higgs with the carry on first down for the Dolphins. After the 20-yard gain on the preceding play, Marino to Page, they get about 3 here.
One of the things you try to do to neutralize Rufus Porter is you try to make him play pass defense, because if you don't, he's one of these guys that's going to constantly put pressure on your quarterback because he likes to rush the passer. But if he's got a back coming out of the backfield all the time, he's got to square up and cover that back, and that keeps him from pressuring your quarterback.
Second down, ball at 7 yards to go. Another quick pop over the middle to Page, and Terry Wooden makes the stop this time as Page falls forward to about the 32-yard line, maybe a yard short of the first down.
You know, when you think Dan Marino's very important to this team, but I think Tony Page is also one of the most valuable players on this team because of all the things that he can do. A very intelligent receiver, knows how to get open, and I mentioned at the top of the game, one of the best lead blocking fullbacks in the business.
On 3rd and 1, what has worked for the Dolphins is Marino to Page over the middle. Let's see if Higgs can find running room. He's wrapped up, perhaps short of the first down. It's going to be very close. Dedrick Dodge was up there. Joe Kane getting up from the bottom of the pile. As that time, Kane was able to make the stop.
Very good. You just mad that I got the Lewis and Clark line
Yeah.
out. I think you just topped me, though. That was a good one.
I was smarting after you got that Lewis and Clark line in.
Kane able to make the play. That's very good. I like that.
I figured you might. All those years that the NFL play-by-play guys had a chance to do that with J.V. Kane when he was playing tight end for the Cardinals, and I don't know if I ever heard it. And you see Red Cashin indicating that the Dolphins are about 2 inches short of the first down. Decision for Shula and Marino.
If you're trying to establish a running game, you have to right now go out and say that you can make these 2 inches. And I'm sure that's what Don Shula said. I mean, if we can't make 2 inches, we have no running game at all.
Well, you got Richmond Webb and Pete Sims on the left side, and all logic dictates that that's where you go. You don't want to go against Cortez Kennedy if you can avoid it. He's over there too. They run to that side, and Higgs finds running room, popping to the outside. Patrick Hunter made the stop, and the Dolphins did a good job of sealing Kennedy off inside. 4-yard pickup.
Really a good misdirection play where the play started off going to the right. You get Kennedy leaning to the right, and then you get Higgs coming back the other way. He's able to find that crack and break it through for the first down. Good play called by the Miami Dolphins. Good running by Mark Higgs.
Workmanlike day for Higgs, who has not been able to pop anything big enough to pad the yards per carry average. First down, Dolphins. Marino with all the time. Now he's going to go down. Veteran Joe Nash 11th-year player out of Boston College who started more games than just about anybody else in the history of the franchise.
2 years ago, they said Joe Nash was too old. He proved them wrong, as you see him and Bryant putting pressure on Marino. He can't even look down the field because he's got all that pressure in front of him. If he could have looked up, he had Farrell Edmonds wide open down the middle of the field, but because of these two old fellas, he wasn't able to make the play.
And you see there all the years that Nash and Bryant have spent together. Nash sensed that Bryant was taking two blockers to the inside, popped out and around him, and came in for the sack. On 2nd and long, Marino looks down the middle and hits Farrell Edmonds. Great stop by number 41, Eugene Robinson, but a good catch coming back across the middle for the tight end and a 15-yard pickup for Miami.
Dan Marino, knowing he had Farrell Edmonds open on that last play, comes right back with the same play. He was trying to get the ball to Edmonds the play before that, but Nash put too much pressure on him. Right there, very same play, Edmonds wide open, and Marino able to deliver the ball.
So now it becomes 3rd down and 3 yards to go. Ball at the 19-yard line. Time running out in the 3rd quarter. This will be the last play. Humphrey with the football is near 1st down yardage at about the 16. Dedrick Dodge made the stop for the Seahawks. 3rd quarter ends on that play. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. Good golly. 4th quarter begins, and while you were away, Red Cashin's crew measured and determined that the Dolphins, by the length of the football, had picked up a 1st down. So it'll be 1st down 10 for Miami at the 16-yard line of the Seattle Seahawks, with the Seahawks leading and stirring the hearts of the Kingdome faithful into the 4th, 10-9.
Tom Flores told us yesterday that what he expected out of this game was to stay in contention till the 4th quarter, and then hopefully something big could happen to give him a chance to win this game. As you look at these stats through 3 quarters, you see that the Seahawks have pretty much dominated a lot of the statistics, but they are in contention here. They're not out of the game by any means, and that's exactly what Flores was trying to accomplish in coming into this 4th quarter.
3rd quarter was all Dolphins in terms of possession and yardage, but Miami got only a field goal to show for it. Now let's see if they can capitalize on this drive. Marino hits Page, and the Dolphin fullback is wrapped up again by Rufus Porter after a gain of 4 yards. This has become a repetitive routine in the 2nd half as Miami is living off that little pass over the middle to the fullback, Tony Page, looping out of the backfield.
Hard to be wrong on that pattern because you have a running back that, as he runs that pattern, if he has a lot of people to the inside, he turns it outside. If you have people to the outside, you turn it inside. So it's really hard to defense that play, especially with a quarterback like Marino that delivers the ball so quickly.
Numbers on Marino in what has been a ball control passing attack, not an explosive quick strike attack today for the Dolphins. Higgs with the football gets inside the 10-yard line. Pickup of 2. Terry Wooden made the stop. He'll be short of the 1st down, and the Dolphins will have a 3rd down calculation to make.
This is where they test all of that preseason stuff when they're talking about featuring the run, and we're going to run the ball now more than we did last year. Well, now it's, you know, you get in a situation like this, you think they're going to run, but here they come with 4 wide receivers.
And they'll come out of the shotgun. Last time the Dolphins were in exactly this position, Tom Catlin came up with a brilliant safety blitz call. This time, Marino throws it behind Bobby Humphrey in the flat. Eugene Robinson up to make the play from his safety position, and Humphrey didn't make much of an effort on what was a poorly thrown ball.
Very much a play, hit him in the legs. You got to throw that back up around the chest area. He looked like he wasn't ready to receive it. Marino throws just a bad throw. He was ready to receive it. Eugene Robinson, number 41, right there on the play, but just a bad throw by Dan Marino.
No amount of effort would have saved it. So Stoyanovich comes on to try to put the Dolphins into the lead with his 4th field goal of the game. That incompletion on the part of Marino snapped a 10-straight completion streak. And Stoyanovich knocks it through. So the Dolphins retake the lead at 12-10 in a touchdownless affair for Miami.
The last thing the average person wants is...
New Mazda. Mazda, it just feels right. By Delta Airlines. At Delta, we love to fly, and it shows. By Schick Tracer, it traces every curve on your face. And by Liberty Mutual. At Liberty Mutual, we're facing the issues that face our customers.
In Seattle, Pete Stoyanovich prepares to kick away for the Dolphins. 8 field goals now in 2 weeks for Stoyanovich, who had 4 against the Rams a week ago and whose 4th here, has just given Miami a 12-10 lead with 13:36 to go in the football game. Dolphins trying to get to 3-0 on the year. Seahawks hoping for 2-2. Chris Warren, busy man all day for Seattle, is met by brilliant kick coverage at the 16-yard line. Jim Jensen, number 11, the former Boston University Terrier, is there to make the stop for Miami.
Jim Jensen, a blue-collar type football player, and watch this work on the special. He comes down hard. He's a 100% player all the way, stays involved here, and watch him come in and make this tackle. Jim Jensen told me it was his last year. He wasn't going to play anymore. He's calling it quits. Hasn't been injured in 12 years, never missed a day of practice. He deserves a day off.
Well, he'll get a few minutes off right now while the Seahawks possess the football. Kelly Stoffer dropping inside his 10. Gets away from pressure once and again. Throws across field a dangerous toss intended for John L. Williams. Couldn't get to it. Jeff Cross was the man who twice pressured Stoffer for the Dolphins.
You got to keep more composure here. You don't have anybody open. Throw the ball away. He almost got in a lot of trouble here as he's flushed out of that pocket and then just tries to throw up a, that looked like a shot duck. Shot sparrow or something. Don't say duck.
Yeah, because those ducks fight when they're shot.
That's right.
Especially up here in the Pacific Northwest where they are all Oregon ducks. On 2nd down 10, and I'm working with Ahmad Rashad. For those of you who don't know, he was an Oregon fighting duck. Stoffer with an excellent throw down the sideline. Number 84, Lewis Clark with the catch. J.B. Brown knocks him out of bounds for the Dolphins, but there is a case of that perfect throw on the deep out.
The toughest pass a quarterback can throw. He's running the wrong way, has to stop, set up, and then he puts this ball right on a line there. Lewis Clark with an excellent route. Just an excellent play by the quarterback and the receiver and the offensive line.
Coaches always talk about how well the QB can throw the 19-yard out pattern. That was the 19-yard out. It went for 19 yards. First down of the half for Seattle. John L. Williams has a pickup of about 6 on the floater in the flat. Again, J.B. Brown, 4th-year cornerback out of Maryland, there to make the stop for the Dolphins. And Offerdahl was also in on the hit.
And the Seattle offense showing some resilience under Kelly Stoffer as they get the ball to start this 4th quarter and are really starting to get an offensive thing going here, moving the ball right down the field. And they're breaking the huddle with enthusiasm. So Stoffer obviously in control in that huddle.
You got a brief look at offensive coordinator Larry Kennan of the Seattle Seahawks, former head coach of the London Monarchs in the World League of American Football. Chris Warren with the carry on 2nd down, and Jeff Cross was there to make the stop for the Dolphins. Warren short of a 1st down.
And in talking to Tom Flores yesterday, I asked him, did he bring the same offense that he had here when he was with the Raiders? He said, no, he's learned a little bit over the years, and he has Larry Kennan here with him, and he's letting him have his input also. So it's sort of a cross between what Flores wanted to do and what Kennan wanted to do. That's the offense that they have here now.
Kennan's offense won the World Bowl for the Monarchs year before last with Stan Gelbaugh at quarterback. Now Gelbaugh is number 3 on this depth chart. Stoffer throwing downfield. Clark is open and has the football. And they're going to call him out of bounds. Vesty Jackson on the coverage. And Clark did not get both feet down on the green.
That's the 2nd time that they have just shielded Clark to the point where he's right on this. You got to know where you are. And as he starts to fade away for this catch, he gets 1 foot in and then the other foot steps out of bounds. But a nicely thrown ball by Kelly Stoffer.
And I said Vesty Jackson. It was J.B. Brown again who was there with the coverage. Newton 3 punts so far, 46-yard average. Longest one, 59. That was the last time he hit the football. He's off to a hot start this year, has another high flyer. Scott Miller, at his 10-yard line, elects to field the ball and gets it almost out to the 20 to about the 17-yard line. 50-yard punt for Tootin. Ron Heller, reserve tight end number 82, downfield to make the stop for the Seahawks. And so now Marino and the offense after the holding call against Miami.
Post-possession foul, holding number 22 on the defense. That penalty will be enforced from where the ball was caught. 10 yards, first down and 10.
So the Dolphins will be pinned very deep near their goal line after that penalty against Saxon when we come back.
Buffalo's offense has scored the most points in the NFL. The Dolphins. Their feared passing attack can light up the scoreboard as well. It's Kelly versus Marino. 2 top guns in an aerial shootout next Sunday.
As we come back, it is opportunity time for the Seattle Seahawks defense. With their football team trailing 12-10 in the fourth quarter, the Seahawks start against Miami with the Dolphins pinned inside their 5-yard line. Mark Higgs gets the call on first down, and the Seahawks, thinking run, are there in bunches to stop him. And now let's go to New York and Bob Costas for an update.
All right, Jim, here's how the Rams took a 12-10 lead at home on the Jets. Well protected. Jim Everett down the sideline for Flipper Anderson. James Hasty, the cornerback, overplayed it, and Anderson ducks in beneath him for the catch for the TD that covers 31 yards, and it's the Rams by 2 in the fourth.
All right, thanks, Bob. Giving the Rams and Coach Chuck Knox the relative luxury by their standards of a 2-point lead. Here where Knox used to coach in Seattle, Dan Marino tosses one, which is batted into the air, and I said opportunity time for the Seahawk defense. Now they convert the opportunity into a scoring chance for Seattle. Perry Wooden, number 90, picked the ball off after it had been batted into the air by number 57, Tony Woods.
And you'll watch Marino here with rolling out the opposite way. This ball will get tipped in the air, and the man who saves this play from going for a touchdown, watch Dan Marino, number 13, come in and make this tackle. Otherwise, we got 6 points going the other way.
They went to the well one too many times on the short pattern to Tony Page out of the backfield.
And I think when teams watched the films, they saw the Rams bat down a bunch of balls last week. So now, when Marino draws back, the first thing they do is get up in the air.
Something the Steelers did to Warren Moon the first week of the season. First and goal from the 6-yard line. Warren gets it down to the 4. 2-yard gain, second down goal. Jeff Frost with the stop, along with Chuck Klingbeil. Seahawks trying to convert this opportunity and go back in front on the scoreboard. And Ahmad, I think you make a terrific point. As you look around the league, you're seeing more and more of it. Defensive linemen standing at the line of scrimmage rather than rushing hard against these quick release, multiple receiver attacks, and just trying to use their height to disrupt pass patterns.
And one of the things that helps is you got so many short receivers around the league that the quarterback, the trajectory of the ball is always on a downward arc, so you get a chance to knock some of those balls down.
Second and goal from the 4. Play action fake. Stopper with plenty of time, and throws it out of the end zone looking for Paul Green, the tight end. Louis Oliver on the coverage for the Dolphins.
Paul Green was wide open. As you see Kennan over there sending in the next play, and Stoffer had a chance to make that play. You don't get many chances down there where you got a guy open where you can get the ball in there, and when you do have that opportunity, you got to get the ball to the receiver. Green was open coming around the back end of that end zone.
Credit the rest of the Dolphin defense for hanging on by a slender thread while Stoffer waited and waited for someone to pop open in the end zone. 4 wide receivers on third down goal from the 4. Lone setback, John L. Williams for the touchdown. And Dolphin defensive coordinator Tom Olivedati reflects on the difficulty of covering that quick opener up the gut out of the 4 wide receiver offensive set.
It's certain when you have 4 wide receivers, it certainly spreads out your offense, and all of a sudden your defense, and all of a sudden you come back with John L. Williams, who just breaks it in almost untouched for the touchdown. And he is celebrating because he knows this game's going back to Florida, his home state.
Casey will try to add the point that will stretch the Seahawks lead to 5. He does. You got under 10 minutes to go in the Kingdom. Potential upset brewing. Seahawks lead 17-12.
You look at this offensive alignment. They have the Dolphin team all spread out with these big, huge gaps. Just an underneath handoff to John L. Williams. Nobody home. He ends up in the end zone.
And the Seahawk touchdown was set up by Terry Wooden's first career interception. Now, short kickoff by Casey. Bobby Humphrey starts at the 10-yard line, gets across the 25 to about the 27. The Dolphins will start from there. John Casey came down after kicking it and made the stop. We want you to be with NBC next Saturday for one of the most eagerly awaited matchups of the '92 college football season. Stanford head coach, former NBC Notre Dame football analyst Bill Walsh, leading the Cardinal against Lou Holtz's Fighting Irish. Did Walsh's stint in the broadcast booth last season give him special insight into Holtz's game plan? Well, of course it did. Find out next weekend, beginning with Notre Dame Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. You don't think our guys have special insight? Marino with plenty of time on first down. A bullet down the middle. The ball pops loose from Duper's hands. It is Eugene Robinson who winds up with the football. They're going to call it a completion and a fumble. Yes, they will. Another big play by the Seahawk defense. A confrontation between some of the Dolphin offensive linemen and the Seahawk defenders. And a dejected Mark Duper leaves the field as Dan Marino thinks, what else can go wrong?
Mark Duper with an excellent route, breaks it across the middle. Marino delivers, but Duper takes a big hit here right there and then gets the ball stripped out. The Seahawks doing an excellent job of stripping the receiver after the catch, and Eugene Robinson is a man there on top of the ball. If you remember earlier, it was Eugene Robinson that stripped the ball. Now all of a sudden, Patrick Hunter able to strip the ball from Mark Duper.
So the Seahawks now working with a 5-point lead and the football at their 47-yard line. We're going to see a lot of Chris Warren. Fake to Warren. Stopper rolls, has plenty of room down the sideline, looking for the first down marker inside the Dolphin 45. Let's go to Bob Costas in New York for a quick update.
Well, Jim, you and Ahmad were in Green Bay last week when Brett Favre pulled off his miracle. This is not quite as dramatic, but it's effective. 8 yards to Robert Brooks. Earlier, he'd thrown the 76-yarder to Sterling Sharp, and Mike Holmgren's Packers could be on their way to evening their record at 2-2. They lead the 3-0 Steelers now, 17-3 in the fourth. Back to Seattle.
Absolutely right, Bob. Ahmad and I got Favre started. Now he's going to roll the table on the whole league. Back in the King Dome in Seattle, it was a first down on Kelly Stoffer's run out of the pass pocket. So make it 1st and 10, Seahawks at the 43. Now Chris Warren gets the call, and now the Dolphins are waiting for him. Jeff Cross with the initial stop, no gain.
They were really, he was hit by 2 or 3 Dolphin defenders. And there you see Mark Duper. And I'm sure, you know, when this happens, you really feel bad, but you also want your team to hurry up and get the ball back so you can make amends for yourself. Here is a big play wide receiver who all of a sudden just got stripped. There was nothing he could really do about that. It was a great play by the defense, but I guarantee you he is anxious to get another shot.
Quarterbacks, kick returners, and receivers in recent years forced to be increasingly conscious of the stripping technique now being taught. Kelly Stoffer throws and hits number 85, Doug Thomas. Thomas coming back to the ball effectively is close to first down yardage at the Dolphin 35-yard line. Troy Vincent made the stop, the rookie cornerback for Miami.
Throughout the course of this game, Kelly Stoffer is starting to show us why David Craig was expendable with that excellent throw right there to the second-year man, Thomas.
Short of first down yardage. Now it will be 3rd down 2. They'll make it 3rd down 3, actually. short three. They got to get the ball to past the 33-yard line. Dolphins showing blitz. Opperdahl trying to come from the inside, and they create enough pressure before Stopper to pull it down. Chuck Klingbeil, number 99, will get credit for the sack. And the loss of 5 yards pushes the Seahawks back out of field goal range. Tootin will come on to punt it away.
A lot of pressure on the outside on Stopper, which forces him up into the pocket. And when he steps up into the pocket, that's when the linebackers are able to make the tackle on him.
Tootin, despite one short one of only 27 yards, averages 47 on his 4 previous punts. Now he's going to try to place one inside the Dolphin 10 again.
I wonder during his entire career was he ever nicknamed Rootin' Tootin'?
Well, here he is Bootin' Tootin'.
Oh, Rootin' Bootin' Tootin'. Rootin' Bootin' Darn Tootin'.
Yeah, it's when he comes on for the 11th time in a desultory day on offense that the fans in the stands say, that darn Tootin'.
He has thunder in his foot. Speaking of thunder, remember Thunderfoot Weaver?
I do remember Thunderfoot Weaver.
He could kick that ball, too.
Thunderfoot is a nickname which has been applied to various punters, but when your name is Herman Weaver, it just wears better than in a lot of other cases.
You could call him Babe, like Herman Babe.
Babe Herman Thunderfoot Weaver.
Or
the Dream Weaver.
Oh, there you go.
He was a dream as a punter some of the time.
He was. Nightmare on other times.
If it wasn't for the work of the Weavers. From the 45-yard line, after a delay of game penalty, moved it back an extra 5 yards. Scott Miller makes the fair catch for the Dolphins at the 18-yard line. So it's a 27-yard punt. Offensive possession, otherwise they will be under the gun in 2-minute drill time. Once before this season, Miami trailed in the 4th quarter, and Marino engineered the brilliant comeback in Cleveland. On first down now, he throws to Tony Page again, and Page comes out of the backfield out to the 28-yard line, close to first down yardage.
This is a play that has worked time and time again, where they take Farrell Edmonds and run him in motion and then take him down, 15, 20 yards and bring him across the middle, and then bring Tony Page underneath where he has room to catch the ball and then run for a little bit. This play has worked every single time they've gone to it.
7th catch of the game for Page. 2nd down, less than a yard to go for the first. Marino with a long count. Across the middle, and this time it's the tight end Farrell Edmonds. Nesby Glasgow makes the stop for the Seahawks, and the Dolphins working the hash marks down the middle of the field. Keep moving, though the clock rolls. The ball goes out to about the 39-yard line, where it'll be Miami first down.
Same play. You have Tony Page coming right over the middle short, and then you also coming from the other side, you have Farrell Edmonds, and Marino able to find Page on the first play, Edmonds on the next one.
For Tony Martin, Patrick Hunter on the coverage. Marino just a little bit off with the throw.
Marino expecting the receiver, once he makes his turn, to run straight back at the quarterback. That's the way you have to make that play. And that's something that him and Mark Clayton are so good with. And Clayton not here today, as we mentioned earlier, expected to be back next week.
On the last Miami possession, Tony Woods batted the ball into the air on the intended pass to Tony Page. Terry Wooden picked it off for his first career interception, and the Seahawks went in for the touchdown that has given them the lead. Marino with a great throw to Tony Martin, this time between defenders in Seahawk territory at the 45. Glasgow there to make the stop along with Hunter, and that was a dart.
This is the catch that determines that you are a professional wide receiver. He's led forward. He knows he's going to take a hit, but he's got to come up with the ball anyway. A lot of guys can get out and play catch, but you get in there and make that tough catch like that with all that traffic knowing you're going to get hit. Tony Martin showed that he's a fine wide receiver.
It's called giving up the body.
Give it up. You got to give it up.
A rather apt description. Marino wants to go all the way down the middle to Edmonds, and the big tight end was in position to make what would have been a terrific catch, but Eugene Robinson got just enough contact to knock it loose. Terry Wooden, number 90, all the way downfield to help with the coverage.
And you see Edmonds making a nice play on the ball, gets his hands on it, and just not able to pull it down. It was a pretty good play by Eugene Robinson to come up with that hit and break that pass play up. Eugene Robinson had him a very big game here today.
Second down 10. Clock stopped with 4:32 to go. Dolphins likely to get at least one more chance if they can't make hay on this one. No touchdowns today for Miami. All the points on 4 Pete Stoyanovich field goals. 44, Bobby Humphrey inside the 35 to the 33. Robinson again with the stop. Another first down for Miami.
When this Miami offense starts to click, it almost reminds you of a, what's that thing where you pour water in it? Is that a sieve?
That is a sieve.
A sieve. And then all of a sudden you get a leak over here on this side and then a leak on the other side. And Marino able to find every single one of those leaks and have positive things happen for their offense. He's moving the ball all around to all his receivers.
And mark it at the 34. Marino with the out pattern throw. It'll be incomplete. A little bit short of Tony Martin that time.
That play appears to be like a 10-yard out, but from the point that Marino threw it, that's almost a 40-yard throw. He threw it with just a 3-step drop, just not enough muscle on the ball. Wasn't able to get to the receiver in time.
Yeah, from the near hash mark to the far sideline and downfield, it's a long throw.
Yeah, that's about 40 yards.
And that ball rides interception possibility all the way as you throw it out there. Not nearly as tough to throw to the near sideline. On second down long, Marino's pass is dropped by Tony Page. Terry Wooden, number 90, was there to make the play for Seattle, and that ball may have been partially tipped. And Marino is down and trying to collect himself after a vicious hit.
As Marino gets rid of this ball, trying to find Tony Page, watch just as he lets it go. Here comes Rufus Porter, and also
Jeff Bryan,
who hits him on that knee. And Marino wobbling a little bit.
And Miami timeout. So the Dolphins use a timeout as Marino gets up to come off the field. Scott Mitchell begins to talk with the Dolphin coaching staff. And now the backup Miami QB. First-year player out of Utah, Scott Mitchell, will go into the game.
And good news for Miami. Marino appears to be all right, but he has to come out for a play. He's now conferring with the team doctors, and I have a feeling we're going to see him back in the game.
And the officials now confirm that a timeout has been charged against the Dolphins. So Miami will have 2 timeouts remaining. Seattle has 2 of its own. 3:44 to go in the 4th quarter. Dolphins trail 17-12. Seahawks thinking big upset in the Kingdome.
Some of us are self-cleaning. Some of us aren't. Clean, not so clean. Groomed, oh well. Oddly enough, it's the same with water heaters. Some don't care how messy they are, but state water heaters self-clean with a patented way to prevent harmful sediment buildup. And since they use natural gas, they heat water for half the cost of electricity. For those other self-cleaners. Clean natural gas, America's best energy value.
As we bring you back to the Kingdome, and we get ready to take another look at the play on which Marino was hit and stunned the play before, we come out of that replay to bring you back to live action on the field as Scott Mitchell, in his first play this season, faces a tough situation. 3rd and 10, a left-handed throw to number 89, Tony Martin, and the Dolphins, with a clutch play call from the offensive staff, get a big one down inside the 20 to the 16-yard line. 18-yard pickup for Miami. Patrick Hunter makes the stop. Marino comes back onto the field.
Excellent play by the Dolphins, just taking a real safe pass route. Little inside move. The wide receiver had a lot of room to move out there. Mitchell putting the ball right on the spot, and a nice run after the catch. And back into the game comes Dan Marino.
Key to the play, the other receivers disguising their routes and immediately turning for downfield blocking. They did an effective job of it. On first down for Miami, Mark Higgs looks for running room inside, is hit twice, and finally goes down after a pickup of a yard. It'll be 2nd down 9.
And the man in there on that play was that old boy Rufus Porter. He was coming. He was bringing it. He's the one that almost stopped Higgs in the backfield. But, boy, he was right on top of that play.
These 90 numbers will get you for Seattle. You got Porter, 97. Cortez Kennedy, number 99, wearing that uniform instead of his old 96 in honor of his deceased best buddy, Jerome Brown of the Eagles. On 2nd and 9, Marino throws. Tony Martin batted up in the air. It was up for grabs and fell onto the AstroTurf.
They dodged a bullet on that one. Normally, when you knock a ball up in the air, it usually is an interception the other way. Marino, not really. The ball came off his hand funny because you see it wasn't spiraling. And as it got closer to Duper, it started to fade down low. Had he been able to throw a spiral, I think that would have hit Duper right in the chest.
It was Hunter on the coverage with Martin. It was Eugene Robinson, number 41, who almost had a chance to catch the football. It is 3rd down 9 for the Dolphins. Biggest play call of the season at the 15-yard line. Fade pattern, corner of the end zone, touchdown. Number 86 for Miami is Fred Banks, the clutch 7th-year receiver out of Liberty. Cut and re-signed in preseason. Right now, he puts the Dolphins back in front.
Here you see Marino looking for Fred Banks all the way. It looked to be somebody messed up on the coverage over here because Fred Banks is wide open all by himself. And Marino, who has done this so many times, still has that enthusiasm as he leads the team all the way down the field and takes him in for the score.
So the Dolphins, unable through 57 minutes of football to put a touchdown on the board, finally get it when desperately they need it. Stoyanovich adds the extra point.
Fred Banks was on Raphael Robinson, a guy number 37 for Seattle that they just activated today, messed up on the coverage, left Fred Banks wide open, and it ends up in a touchdown. That's one of the things that Seattle was concerned about. They didn't have a lot of defensive backs. Robinson, they just activated him today. He gets in there down on the goal line, makes a mistake on the coverage, and this is the end result. A very easy pass. This is like playing catch.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts if you're Tom Catlin, the defensive coordinator, and you know if you had all your troops, you might have cohesive coverage. They have to put Raphael Robinson in the game. He was described to us after having been signed late this week and activated today, described by the publicists for the Seattle Seahawks as the freest of free agents.
Well, he was freely out on his own that last play because he was nowhere in sight. And that's what happens when you get down in that zone where you run all kind of combination patterns. You get mixed up on the coverage, and that's exactly what they did. They found that weak link that happened to be Robinson that time. And
you got to feel awful for Robinson, free agent rookie out of Wisconsin, just trying to get a chance in the NFL, and he winds up giving up the touchdown that gives the Dolphins the lead.
They don't wait for you out there on that freeway, and that's what they call that cornerback position because everything's moving so fast.
A lot of clutch moments in the drive for the Dolphins. That touchdown pass coming on 3rd down and 9 yards to go. But the big play, of course, Scott Mitchell's first NFL regular season play, the 3rd and 10 completion to number 89, Tony Martin, on the little underneath pattern that got the Dolphins down there to 21. Stojanovich's kick sails away from Chris Warren and out of bounds.
Placed on the 35-yard line.
The drive was 12 plays, 80 yards, 4 minutes, 20 seconds. A lot of it vintage Dan Marino.
The Dolphins would like to get away from those kind of heroics and try to establish a solid win. But if you can get in there, because I think when they get behind, they always think we've got Dan Marino. We have a chance to really pick them apart and come all the way down the field. But sometimes you get yourself in a hole that's so deep that even that kind of play doesn't pull you out.
Well, when you come up here to Seattle 2-0 and you're looking to go 3-0, you may forget how tough it is to start off 3-0 in this league. The last time Miami did it, 1984, 8 years ago. So now Kelly Stoffer will try to answer for the Seahawks. And on first down, he throws in and out of the hands of Rob Thomas, the former Kansas City wide receiver. Signed this year after being waived by the Chiefs.
Good defensive play here. Just stays right on the ball is Green, who makes sure that he doesn't make the catch.
Interesting choice for the Dolphin defensive staff. Green, supplanted in the starting lineup today by rookie Troy Vincent, returns now for this closing drive by the Seahawks.
And comes up with a big play.
Stoffer drops again. And this time the safe pass along the sideline to Lewis Clark picks up 6. Chris Green again on the coverage. So Chris Green, keeping his chin up after having been benched in favor of the rookie Troy Vincent, comes back to make plays. We'll be back.
There you go. That's the all-important thing. When they think you got a concussion, they want to know how many fingers you got up, and I can see from here he had 1 up. I don't know if Marino could see it, though.
That was Dan Marino being checked on the sideline. On the one play on which he left the game, he appeared to have been hit in the jaw by Rufus Porter. John Offerdahl makes the stop now for the Dolphins, and it will be 3rd down for the Seahawks. And here's the most important Seahawk 3rd down call of the season. No, make it 4th down. 4th and a yard to go, and the Seahawks will take a timeout, and Kelly Stoffer will go to the sideline to confer with offensive coordinator Larry Kennan and head coach Tom Flores. And we remind you, next Sunday, NBC Sports presents more exciting NFL football action, beginning at 12:30 Eastern with NFL Live. Then some of you will see Jim Kelly and the Buffalo Bills airing it out against Dan Marino and these same Dolphins. Others will see the Chargers host these Seahawks, or the Kansas City Chiefs colliding with the Denver Broncos in an important AFC West battle, or regional action. And we remind you to check your local listings for the game in your area. Look at the AFC East standings. The Dolphins trying to get to 3-0 for the first time since 1984, when they started 11-0, went to the Super Bowl, and were beaten in Stanford Stadium by the San Francisco 49ers. New England and the Jets winless coming into this weekend. That's a surprise with regard to the Jets. Meanwhile, the medical staff of the Dolphins still carefully looking at Dan Marino, as on the field the Seahawks try to stay alive. 4th and 1 with 1:46. Stoffer wants to throw. Ball in the air, and Lewis Clark can't hold on as J.B. Brown made the clutch defensive play, hitting Clark from behind for the Dolphins. Interesting play call on 4th and 1. Looks to me, Ahmad, as though they were looking for something deep and didn't have it.
They were really, I mean, you got to give them a credit. They were going for the win. I think they were trying to find Lewis Clark, who was closely guarded here. There's a little bit of holding right there. A little bit of a wrestling match there at the end of that play. But a gambling call by Tom Flores. And you see Stoffer. And the offensive line has done a great job of protecting Stoffer all day. He's had a lot of time to throw the ball.
Can't complain about that. Kelly Stoffer unable to get the 4th down completion. Now the Dolphins will see if they can close things out at the 44-yard line. On 1st down, Higgs is going to be wrapped up easily.
Interesting that Marino is still being tended to on the sideline. Mitchell in trying to close the door on this game here today.
Seahawks take their 2nd timeout. They will have 1 remaining.
There's Dan Marino.
So let's figure. Minute 34. If they stop the clock after another running play here, it'll be about a minute and a half. Then they'll have to let it roll. At best, they can get the football back with fewer than 30 seconds remaining and no timeouts.
When you talk about, like the Dolphins do, about their running attack and trying to do this and getting the offensive line excited and saying you've got, you know, possibly one of the best offensive lines in the league, here is where you prove it. Now you become a football player and you put this game away. You've got to take the ball, get a 1st down, run the clock out. All the talk and all that potential stuff goes away now. You got to go out and do it.
Behind the left side of the offensive line, the Richmond Webb, Keith Sims cadre. And again, the Seahawks stop the clock, this time with a minute 28. So it'll be 3rd down Miami, long yardage. You look at the numbers on Marino.
Marino looking like a man with a horrendous hangover or something. He really did get shot. That shot to the head. And it doesn't look like he's in a lot of trouble, but it obviously looks like he's had a bit of a concussion, and now they're going to take him off the field and attend to him in the locker room.
A much rougher day than was expected for Dan Marino and the Dolphins. And Marino now will feel the effects probably well into tomorrow of his last meeting with Rufus Porter, while Jeff Bryant toyed with his ankles.
A shot to the head, to the jaw, has him a bit woozy.
Scott Mitchell is the quarterback now for the Dolphins. And Mitchell so far on this drive has been handing off to Mark Higgs. 3rd and 8. Clock will run after this one as the Seahawks have used their last timeout. Higgs is stopped short of the first down by number 29, Dwayne Harper. He picked up 6 on the play, though, so it'll be 4th down and 2 yards to go when the Dolphins next snap it. You can see that the Seahawks have run out of timeouts. Look at Flores. 2nd quarter, even ball game, right?
Yes. That's at Bud Grant School. He looks the same no matter what. He is very cool under pressure, and his nickname when he was playing was the Iceman, because he was so cool under pressure as a quarterback. But he says he really got that nickname because as a kid he used to load ice into a train, and that's why they started calling him the Iceman.
2nd punt of the game for Joe Prokop, who won a battle with various other free agent punters for the job replacing Reggie Roby. And now timeout, the Dolphins.
I told Tom yesterday that had he got that nickname as of late, he could have gotten into this. He could have been a rapper like Ice Cube and Ice-T and that kind of thing.
And all those other ice guys.
Yeah.
Now, we know that this game is wrapping up relatively early on your clocks at home, so when we finish here, we're going to have a chance to take you to Pittsburgh, Green Bay, for the conclusion of that football game with Charlie Jones and Todd Christensen. I want to take advantage of the opportunity to thank my statistician, Gary Hayamoto, spotters Gary Moore and Paul Kirk, without whom I'd have had little to say here. They all did a great job. Prokop tries to pin the Seahawks deep. Warren's going to bring it back. And he gets only to about the 16-yard line. 31-yard Prokop kick, making about a 3-yard return for Warren. John Grimsley downfield. No, check it. Mark Sander, reserve linebacker, downfield to make the stop for the Dolphins. We're going to take you to Pittsburgh, Green Bay for the conclusion of affairs there with Green Bay and brand new quarterback Brett Favre on top. 17-3 over the previously unbeaten Steelers in the 4th quarter. Kelly Stauffer with one last chance. 28 seconds on the clock. And they've only got to go 84 yards.
It has happened before.
Well, he does have the arm to throw deep. But they are without Brian Blades and Tommy Kane, and those two would have come in handy here.
Exactly. They don't have anybody actually that can really get deep besides Lewis Clark. But Doug Thomas is a speed merchant.
Before the ball was snapped, false start. Number 73 on the offense.
Now that
5 yards,
hurts.
still 1st down.
That takes you back to the 11-yard line, and you've got to go 89 yards now after the false start by Ray Robbins, the rookie tackle out of Virginia. Ray Roberts, I should say.
At this point, very little difference between 84 and 89.
You know, they really could have used Tommy Kane here, but as of this past week, that particular Kane is not able to play for them. Unlike his teammate Joe Kane, who has been providing able help to the defense. Stauffer looking across the middle, and Lewis Clark was well defended. Troy Vincent back in the game for the Dolphins as the Dolphins go with 7 defensive backs. And now we're told that Pittsburgh Green Bay is final. So we won't be able to take you to Charlie Jones and Todd Christensen, much as we know you would have enjoyed them. As Favre and the Packers have their 2nd consecutive win, and the Steelers are no longer unblemished. Miami trying to stay unbeaten here in what has been a struggle. Dolphins waited more than 57 minutes before finally putting a touchdown on the board in this one. 2nd down. Might as well heave it, Kelly. He does. Over Lewis Clark at the sideline. Again, Troy Vincent on the coverage for the Dolphins. And a relatively nonplussed Tom Flores says to himself, interesting. 14 seconds to go.
Tom Flores said, we are rebuilding. There's two ways to do it. You get rid of everybody and don't care if you win, or you keep trying to win and try to replace different parts of your team as you go along. So that is an adjustment for him. He's basically, as he coached a winner all the time, now he's in a rebuilding situation. Whereas, on the other hand, Don Shula, he'll take this win. He knows that wins are hard to come by. Even if you have to do it by kicking field goals, you go on to the next week.
He's won every which way. They all show up in the same column at the end of his long and amazing career. Stoffer sacked at the goal line. He released the football to try to avoid the sack. Marco Coleman, number 90, was there for the Dolphins. And did Coleman manage to score 2 for Miami? Hitchcock and Griggs want to have a go at each other now. Hockey game about to break out there in the end zone.
I've always wondered, I wonder what kind of weight program these referees are under, because they can break up a fight between two big guys better than anybody I've ever seen.
And that's it. After the sack of Stoffer, they ruled that the football was outside the end zone. They call it a sack at the goal line for Coleman. Miami puts the finishing touches on a 19-17 win.